Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and today we're going to talk about the new Season 4 drop for Halo Infinite. I'll be honest, I'm not really set up to do this properly. The camera's over there. I didn't want to move it because it's always over there for recording gaming stuff, so we're just going to live with it. And you can probably see that there's something different with the Halo stuff. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if a reaction to an hour-long video of them talking about Halo is going to work. I'm just trying something new for the channel. If you do like this, let me know in the comments. But I watched 10 seconds of this, and then something in the back of my head went, oh, this is... there's alarm bells going. Not for the content, because they didn't say anything about what they were bringing for Season 4. And as you guys know, I've been fairly hard on Halo. And I would argue rightfully so. In fact, I think I have been less harsh than I could have been with this being over 18 months since it was released, and it's still not got any longevity to it. But I'm not a multiplayer fan. Forge is massive for it. Forge is a big win, but I'm not. I play 10 multiplayer games and I'll get bored because I just don't find multiplayer fun. I want the PV stuff. If you gave me Forge Firefight or even just Firefight, I'd stream Halo all day fucking long, right? Let's see. It doesn't look like it because they're talking about Season 4, Infection, and Career Rank, which, to me, sounds like Season 4 is going to bring Infection, which is a game mode that should have been in at launch. Like we say, with all of the stuff that they're adding at this point, they've completely fucked this game up. Certainly in terms of delivery at launch, and still delivery now, it is not where it needs to be for a Halo launch. Halo should launch in the best state possible. Yes, there can be bugs. Yes, there might be technical difficulties, slight issues, slight desync stuff. I can understand that. But there is no excuse for it not launching with all of the playlists and content that it used to launch, especially when it took them nearly 7 years to put it together. Ridiculous. And then 343 got gutted. So content is going to take even longer. You know all this. We're already starting off really badly. I'm sorry. Let's just jump into this. So this is Sketch with, I don't know who he's with, but they used to do these in a studio. They had all the cameras, they had everybody mic'd up, they showed off gameplay. There's none of that. We just get this splash card. It's I wonder if they addressed that in the video, because they had all the equipment, they had the full-blown studio, they had the people doing it. Have they been gutted to the point that they can't have someone set up a camera and record? As a gut reaction, having only seen 10 seconds, this is not the message that Halo needs to be putting forward. This is not the message that 343 is a studio, that Microsoft, that Team Xbox, who are all about the future. Halo is your big tentpole. It needs to have all of the flash, all the pomp and ceremony. It needs to look, marketing-wise, as appealing, as attractive, and as well-funded as possible. This might be a one-off. They might address it. This is something new, Spartan chatter. Maybe it's just meant to be a podcast. We'll see. But if it's meant to be a podcast, why have they switched from the old video format? And we've done the video ones before. I've sat here and talked about it as we've watched them together. Let's jump in. Let's see what they've got to say. I'll interject at certain points. You'll see the mouse flying around. But let's see, because this... I've got coffee. That's all I need.
I see a lot of activity in the chat. Hey everyone, this is Sketch talking. We have a little different setup here than we...
Also, so they're going to talk, obviously going to talk about setup. I like Sketch. I like the guys that are the public face of 343, the guys that do these live streams. Sketch, Unishay. they're good guys. Like, I follow them on Twitter. They all seem genuine enough. Like, the dad jokes are maybe a bit too much. But like, I have absolutely no problem with anybody on the marketing team. My problem is with the higher-ups who have fumbled the ball at every opportunity, right? There's no shade on those. I want to make that clear because I know that the internet can get hysterical. I might tear this apart, but this is not Sketch and the community team's fault. They're still trying to do their job with the resources that they have. Just to get that out, because I have mad respect for those guys. Like, they do community stuff so much better than a lot of people. Their community engagement is great. And the information they deliver might not please the fan base. But they then have to carry the can and I think that they do very well to keep the community in a moderately placated and feel listened to position at this point. And their job must be impossible. Like, mad props to these guys. Just to make that clear, let's crack on.
We did last time. We're actually all in the same room together, which is super exciting. And we have a centralized mic, which is why you're not seeing all of our individual accounts light up here. So it's not Sam just doing impressions of all of us. We're all here together. So please do let us know in
We're all in one room with one mic.
The chat.
Even podcasters don't do that.
If for some reason there's any kind of technical issues, we're still a little grassroots here. So hopefully things will go great, but a little bit different setup today. We're excited to try this out. It's great to have Snickerdoodle Unyshek and the real Sean Barron sitting here in person.
So there's 4 of them in the room.
But yes, this is Sketch. Why don't everybody introduce themselves so we can get people can kind of identify your voice to who you are, and then we will we'll get rolling here.
I'm Sam, Snickerdoodle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm here.
I think this is just the community team.
Hi, I'm Sean. Do we want to talk? What do we want to say? What we do?
Yeah, just introduce yourself.
Yeah. So hi, everybody. You may recognize me. No.
Recognize your voice.
Recognize my voice. Yeah. Oh, I know. Realize that they're.
Oh, everybody in chat was very happy to see you, by the way, or to hear you.
Oh, good. Hi. So I am in charge of live performance and insights for the studio. And in this conversation, I'm going to be talking about how we're running the live product of Halo Infinite.
Okay.
Whoa. Let me pour coffee. How they're going to renovate the live product of Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is not a live product. It gets about as much content as Halo 2 did. No, Halo 3. That's harsh, Halo 3. Settle in, folks. This could be really interesting. And hopefully they actually manage to do something with this. Okay, I'm in.
And Unyshek needs no introduction.
What up? I'm here.
See, I like these
Tom and
guys.
Sean Barron W.
Yeah.
See, they like you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
For now.
For now.
Cool.
It's okay.
All right. So someone just asked, will we also get a video? This is an audio-only experience. So no video today. You just got the voices. I do want to just let folks know we will put this audio recording in the Discord server. So it'll be available. And then I think probably a few hours later, after we have time to process it all and make it look, get it all nice and buttoned up, we'll upload it to YouTube and put it on Waypoint as well. So this is being documented. No pressure.
I also just want to shout out, this dropped 9 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, UK time. So they may have scheduled it, I don't know. But it sounds like they were doing this yesterday in the office, and it's taken a full day for them to record and prep and sort that out. Like, somebody's been pulling overtime. Just putting that out there.
Sean,
It does seem like there is a demand for a podcast where it's like, you record and then you also do the video. Like, I think.
See, I prefer the videos.
We'll get there.
I like a visual aid.
Truth be told, we haven't had a live stream from the studio in quite a bit. It's something that's actively being worked on, and we're kind of getting ourselves back into position. So this has been a pretty cool.
Why?
I don't know. I don't want to call it just a stopgap because I think this is interesting in its own right. It has some.
We've had them since COVID. Why are they not in the studio?
Some benefits too, but the goal is to kind of get back to full operational strength and have a full multimedia suite of ways to interact with our community. We're just not quite there yet.
This is all since the layoffs, isn't it? So something has happened behind the scenes that we will never hear about outside of what they say here. I find this more interesting than what they're bringing to the game because the studio seems like it's falling apart. But okay, so they have said they're going to be getting back to the full multimedia range of connecting with the community. Okay, so that should put my fears at rest, really. If this is just a test, I get it. Like I'm not one for podcasts, but they're massive. I get why they'd want to go down this route. And if they do it weekly, I'd tune in and listen. So yeah, okay. So this isn't cutting back and they've been stripped to the bone. This is more trying something new. Studio's not quite ready. I mean, personally, I'd still rather a video element and actually see them sat there and be able to show something. Maybe I just expect too much from Halo these days.
Yeah, Sean, you just confirmed video podcast coming in season 5. It says. So.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to. No.
Sean,
Already in the hole.
Sean,
That was the one rule you gave me.
I said,
No promises.
don't confirm anything, Sean. Also, let me just kind of go over a couple ground rules so folks have some context. We will periodically keep an eye on chat. We will try to answer some questions that are topical as we see them. Chat moves pretty quickly, so
I like that. If I'd have known this was going to be on, I may have jumped in live. So they are interacting with chat. I don't know if it's Discord or what. I don't think this was streamed. Maybe it was in the Discord chat, in which case I need to be more active in the Discord chat because I don't think I've used it since Infinite dropped.
I just want to apologize in advance. We're definitely not going to be able to answer everybody's question, and a lot of questions are just going to be out of scope for today. Sean's here to talk about, I think, some things that people are certainly interested in. We're going to talk about Spartan customization, which I think is something that a few folks have been asking about.
Yep.
Because it's shit.
I'm going to give Sean a chance to also just kind of look higher level. Some of you may recall we had Sean on a stream ages ago.
Season 3 preview stream.
Yep, and you talked about player experience goals and priorities, and now you and the team have been really busy, so we'd like to get an update from you on kind of what you and the team are really focusing on and how we should think about things going forward. And then, of course, we want to get a little bit of information out of you about Season 4, but I want to be really upfront about this too so people don't get too hyped.
Also, Season 4 is meant to be dropping in about a month. But I think it was dated June 20th. I think that's when the season timer of Season 3 runs out in the game. I checked it yesterday.
This is not a full Season 4 reveal breakdown broadcast. We're just gonna drop a little bit of nuggets, but we've got about a month to go.
I think I tweeted the link to the trailer.
Oh, you've already released the asset, the marketing trailer, which
I'm just kidding.
Isn't even done yet, but you have the final copy in your possession, apparently. But anyways, suffice it to say, we have a lot more Season 4 showing and telling to come in the weeks ahead. So I just want to make sure no one is getting too overhyped in that regard today. So, any other housekeeping notes from your perspective, Unishek?
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Don't
Sam,
get too overhyped.
Okay. So breakdown broadcast. We're gonna drop a little bit of nuggets, but we've got about a month to go.
I think I tweeted the link to the trailer.
Oh, you've already released the asset, the marketing trailer, which
I'm just kidding.
Isn't even done yet, but you have the final copy in your possession, apparently. Anyways, suffice it to say, we have a lot more Season 4 showing and telling to come in the weeks ahead. So I just want to make sure no one is getting too overhyped in that regard today. So, any other housekeeping notes from your perspective, Unishek? No? Okay. Sam, you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
So, Sean,
Sorry,
we're going to put you right on the hot seat then. And let's just dive right in before we get to...
Oh, sorry. Chat has confirmed that Sean is the lead the whole time.
The files are in the computer.
That would explain a lot. Dang, that would really explain.
Oh, God.
So, Sean, I'm going to just throw you a very big opening to question.
Where's the
what
game
have you
shit?
been up to since we last spoke? Give us a sense of kind
That's
of
me, I shouldn't say
priorities.
that.
What are you and the team really focusing on? And you don't have to go through all those player experience goals. I know you've probably got them
The
on the
game
top of
isn't
your
shit.
mind, but just like, how are
It's
you
just
and the
not
team
finished.
thinking about the live service today? Where are we going? How
I
have
hate
things
that
been
term,
going
live
the last
service.
few months?
Yeah.
Just let's start with that.
Sure. I actually thought you were going to start because I thought this was open-ended.
Outside of Destiny, and I think that this is very, very debatable. Outside of Destiny, I don't know of any live service game that actually maybe Call of Duty Warzone. Is that a live service? I don't know if that is a true live service. Live service hasn't seen, it's been embraced by everyone. Everyone's tried to get it on the cash cow because it's a quick buck. It doesn't seem to work as a model. Halo have fluffed their lines. Destiny 1 probably fluffed their lines. Destiny 2, maybe you could argue it worked. I wasn't a fan of their live season model because it was just the same thing in a different skin to me. And that's one of the reasons why I just won't play Destiny anymore. I've just given up on it. Assassin's Creed have tried to do live service models and that's never really fit the game. Yeah, it doesn't seem to work.
No, I thought you were going to ask me how I...
And Halo Infinite was supposed to be a 10-year game, which I think they later came out and said it isn't anymore, so we'll see.
been doing, like, what I've been getting into.
How have you been doing?
Pretty good, you know, picked up jiu-jitsu. That's pretty fun. Actually picked up jiu-jitsu, yeah, with my...
This isn't a bit.
This is not...
That's the throwing spot, right?
No, I actually picked up
judo.
jiu-jitsu in the last couple of months.
Same class as your son?
We have a class every Saturday morning that we go to together, and he's
That's
just
cool.
turned 10, and
So
it's a lot of fun.
You and Zuckerberg, right? Didn't he just win the competition?
Really good, actually.
Okay.
I am not good because that 10-year-old can beat me up. So, anyways, yeah. So personally, that's one thing that I've been doing.
That's that. I don't know. I may be aging myself, but that Seinfeld episode when Kramer's taking martial arts with all the little kids,
Halo
and
community
he's just
got so
dominating
aggressive
them. And
that
after
the staff
class
have
one
had to
day,
take
they all
up
take him in the
jujitsu.
alley, and they all just sort of.
Kind of like that. No, there's actually a small children's class immediately after the class I'm in, and they watch my son and I, and they're like, "What?" Like, there's this little girl. She's probably 4, and she looks at us and is like, "Why are they doing it wrong?" Like, every week, and I think her name's Sarah, and she just
I feel like I'm part of the
and I was like, "Hey,
podcast.
this is great, actually.
I would love
yeah,
to.
so
Right?
personally, I'm doing pretty.
I don't know who it would be with. I'd need to figure it out. But I would love to do a podcast for this channel. It would fit more on this because this channel is, if you know my 2 channels, I know this one gets a lot more views from non-subscribed viewers, which is what it is. It's fine. This channel is more about the random stuff that I see. It's more focused on stuff that I'm interested in, so movies, games, not necessarily trailer reactions because they're a real pain in the ass to do on YouTube. For some reason, movies don't want you to promote their own trailers. But like this was the main channel. It's now more of the experiment channel. I'd love to do a podcast. I just don't know what it would be about. Like movie news, game news. I don't know who I'd do it with. But that's something that I've always wanted to do. Because I'm an idiot with a mic that I talk into, and sometimes somebody watches it. I'm so sorry if that's you. But yeah, so that's something I'm playing around with in the back of my head. As I say, it's not confirmed. I'm not confirming a Voice of Todd podcast. But you know, if this goes down well, maybe we'll do some more reaction stuff. This is more of a reaction to game stuff. This isn't a podcast. But the podcast idea, while I don't listen to them, I like the idea of just getting some guys around a microphone or a microphone each, ideally, and just chatting about the week's gaming stories or something. I think that'd be a really cool idea.
Pretty well, I think, yeah. But you asked more questions, I think, about what the team's been working.
Yeah, just talk to us about, what have you guys been up to the last few months, and how are you thinking about priorities and kind of high-level vision going forward?
Yeah, so I think we are still aligned against the player experience goals that I outlined last time, which were consistency, satisfaction, and quality.
Good.
I
Those
think
3 things
I
that
would
Halo
give
should
us
have in
different
abundance.
grades across those categories. With consistency, I'm really, 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 really happy with where the team has gotten. This was the number one thing that we were going after because it was the number one sort of set piece of sentiment and business feedback that we needed to address was just being consistent with our updates, our releases, getting the content to the players. And I think with the winter update,
one season every 18 months,
and now
12
with
months
the
isn't
upcoming
good.
season 4 release, like I'm feeling very good and very confident about that. And all credit to the team for doing that because it hasn't been easy.
That's good.
In consistency, you mean consistently releasing seasons, content, events.
Previously branded seasonality. We followed it from the very first slide I ever showed on that. I called it seasonality initially, but I think it's more about consistency because it's more of a developmental philosophy. Because we have delivered seasons that have taken, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to deliver the next one. It's more about making sure that we have a philosophy around everything we do being consistent. And the team's done a great job, right? Satisfaction, which was rewarding and personal and welcoming. Again, I'm actually really happy with the progress here. And
these are just bullshit corporate buzzwords. How are you relating this to players?
I think, we get updates from you guys, from the community, and from user research who gives us, sentiment reports. And we've been seeing that, like, generally satisfaction has been going up, especially since the winter update. So I'm happy with the progress there.
Because you're slowly fixing the game.
That Match XP, custom game browser, we got it in early, and we're working on parts of that. Forge, the community playlists, like our battle passes are getting better.
Forge is huge. Forge has always been a big part of Halo since Halo 3, I think, was the first Forge. There's a whole community of Halo of people that don't necessarily play Halo, but they make maps. Halo 4, Halo 5. Halo 5 especially has just a ridiculous amount of maps. And the Infinite Forge system is just, it's beyond a scale that you can imagine. Somebody made the Andy's room from Toy Story in Forge that you can play as a Spartan and run around all the Toy Story stuff. It's incredible. So I think part of the reason why they pushed Forge out, and this is me being a skeptical asshole, they pushed Forge out because then the community will do their job. The community will make maps for them. Right? Basically. And one of their key playlists is Forge maps on repeat. Which is cool, and it's celebrating the community, but it's also, oh, well, now we don't need to make any maps for a few weeks. And I know that's a really bad way of looking at it, but Forge has rejuvenated Halo. So I'm glad that it came. But Halo isn't about PvP. It's about PvE 2. Right? You know I hammer that point too hard.
And I think our customization story is going to be coming together even more for the next few seasons. So I think then when you look at season 4 and season 5, I think we're even going to be getting better there from a World War
Season 5 confirmed.
Perspective. I think so. This is there.
This is something I say pretty frequently. Is like we go after the right things that our players want, right? So we are increasing that satisfaction, but consistency and speed, right? We can always be doing better. Our players always want more faster, but we are at least going after the right things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think our priority list is always right. It is
on a personal level, I disagree.
And what are all the different complications? Because we have finite resources, right? So we have finite resources.
Yeah.
From a personnel perspective, we can't go after everything at once. And because if we did, we would never really fix anything or make anything great.
But you shouldn't be in a position where you have to fix an already released game. It seems to be an industry standard where, we'll ship it and then they can beta test it and then in 6 months' time it'll be playable and everyone will love it. No. That hasn't flown for 7 or 8 years. That's not good enough. Not when you're paying stupid amounts for a full price game. And the digital price of a game is more expensive than a physical copy that has been shipped from a distributor to a sales outlet to the person.
Were you going to say something?
Maybe I shouldn't cover games.
Sorry, finish your thought.
Oh, I was going to say, of the 3 areas, I didn't talk about quality yet. And I think that's the one where I wouldn't give us a passing grade yet. So this is the most frustrating area.
Okay.
We just haven't made the progress that I know the team wants, and I know that the community has really given us feedback on.
And these guys have very talented developers, right? 343 is potentially industry leading in the amount of talent that it had. I don't know about now because of the layoffs and things, but they're all incredibly talented, incredibly passionate people. I've always said that. I've gotten flack for that in the past. I've always said that, right? So the fact that Sean's coming out and saying we're not hitting the quality level, I think is very honest of him, and I appreciate that.
And that's where, like, for me, when I look at our, our biggest buckets of negative sentiment, like this is like network performance and product stability. Like this is really where we need to make the biggest changes.
Yeah.
And that's not to say we haven't been doing stuff consistently to try to fix it. Like we've been trying to fix, issues like rubber banding.
It has been getting better.
All that sort of stuff. Slowly through these releases. We've released hundreds of fixes for these things, for bugs. But it's just not hitting those things the right way, in my opinion. And I'm unhappy with that. Sorry, I just got feedback that I'm being a little too quiet. And so I think we're
mad props to him for coming out and saying that he is not happy with that at the state that they're in. Like, that takes balls. He could have come on here and said, we're doing okay, but we could do better. But he's come out and said, no, it's not good enough. Good for him.
We're now looking and investigating more drastic ways of trying to address some of that stuff, but that's not baked right now. But that, if I'm giving myself a grade here or the team a grade here, it's not on the highest level here. We got to do more.
Yeah. Network and performance, you mean seems like desync.
Desync, yeah.
Go after that, even stability. We know people are crashing both on their Xboxes and PCs, as well as at the server level. So we need to make sure we're doing even better there too.
Yeah, and then there's also like random quality things that pop up. Like the number one hottest thing right now. I don't know. Are we good to talk about this? Yeah. Okay. The number one hottest thing. I'm getting my for folks on the stream. I'm just getting approval to talk about those certain things.
But you're the boss guy, though.
No. We're all the bosses. The number one hottest piece of feedback right now is the settings issue, where the settings reset. Like that is so frustrating. Like,
can confirm
that it is immensely frustrating.
That shows you how much I don't play it anymore.
Actively trying to like go through and figure out what these things are, and like
that's mad.
We get these things called speculative fixes going after those. But that's another example of something that would fit in here.
This is Halo.
Just, it kills us. Like I hate seeing it. I know the team hates seeing it.
Well, that one in particular is funny because it's like it affects everybody so differently that it's like impossible to be like, here's exactly what I did to trip it. So like, here, can you go fix it? Like me, and then get all the telemetry from your dev kit. You can't do that because it just happens randomly for seemingly no rhyme or reason. So it's very hard to figure out.
Yeah, and we've actually added some new telemetry, which for folks who might not know what that is, it's just a way of really investigating through the build and through data that we get back from players' boxes, what might be happening when that happens. It's a lot of fun, and we can do better there.
Well, let me try to recap a few things, and I guess I saw some people in chat like, safe to say that satisfaction and quality also intersect. Not only are we acknowledging that we know we want to do better in the quality and we have a lot of opportunity there, but we also know that, the satisfaction as it pertains to quality is also.
And just to point something else out, like I reference Halo 5 quite a lot, and campaign wise, just ignore it, just stay away from it. But as a multiplayer experience, the multiplayer matches, and that's certainly the firefight mode, so much fun. Like once they fixed it and they added content and they got to a point where it felt big enough, like it's really good. 5 years on, people were still playing Halo 5 because it was a very wholesome multiplayer experience. They can do it. They can hit the quality level. Not necessarily with the campaigns and the story writing, but if on a gameplay level, on a graphical level, on a system level, they can hit this quality that the community demands, and it sounds like they demand themselves. I do think they will get there with this.
We've made a lot of great headway on other player feature requests and improvements, but like these things are, it's a mess right now, right? Just to untangle this. And I just want to acknowledge too, I'm really excited and happy about the stability initiatives. I also think, we can safely acknowledge that Season 3 in some ways did introduce some new challenges that has kind of taken the team down a different avenue to go after.
They're not quite Bungie yet, though.
Stability is a huge priority for the studio. It's something that we have people actively working on constantly. And the networking thing, I just want to, none of us are really the network engineers in this room, and I don't want to get out of my depth here, but I do want to make sure folks are aware, like, we absolutely have the data and the feedback. We understand where the pain points are. We're fully aligned on kind of what we need to go after. Unfortunately, some of these things are just really, really complicated and deeply rooted. And I'm going to go a step further and maybe overspeak here, but I think we've been going after some spot fixes and kind of looking at case-by-case issues and trying to tackle them one by one. I want folks to know in parallel, though, there's also initiatives underway to even look more holistically at more dramatic, dramatic sweeping changes that could be very, very positive, but...
I'm going to do something rare here. I'm going to throw them a bone. 343 developed Halo Infinite on the Slipspace engine, which is a brand new engine. This is an engine that they developed. This is the first game they've released on said engine. There was always going to be issues. Now, we've all seen the news stories of them moving to Unreal 5. I think a Halo game in an Unreal Engine would be jaw-droppingly stunning, and I think it would open Halo up. You've seen my video, or I'll put the video somewhere. Yes, absolutely. Why have a proprietary engine for a license that you should be allowing other people to experiment and play with? In which case, you could have all your assets in Unreal, and every studio has access to it, right? That's my view. Halo shouldn't be focused on one studio because one studio cannot make the content we've seen with Infinite, we saw with Halo 5. They cannot launch a game to then repeatedly have issues with the story. Halo 4 as well, to be fair. The story isn't good enough. And I like Halo 4's story. I don't hate Infinite's story. But it's not good enough. But to also have them doing the multiplayer stuff, and then the PvE multiplayer stuff, and then the PvP tournament stuff, and then the weapons, and all the stuff, and the stuff from the multiplayer that gets introduced, like the Bandit, one of the new weapons, won't be added to the campaign because they don't do it. They don't know how, or they just can't work it in, or they don't have the people, or whatever it is. Like, Halo should have a dedicated campaign with dedicated content coming out from them, a dedicated multiplayer with a PvP and a PvE team, and it shouldn't just be 343, right? Just for one Halo launch, it should be, 343 do PvP, sorry. So they will make the base gameplay is great. Like, Infinite plays really well, Halo 5 played really well. So they do the gameplay design, and they do how the game's going to work. They are still the figurehead of Halo. And then they do multiplayer, and they do all multiplayer, right? So all the content, all the designs, the skins, the armor customization, all that stuff. Then you have another team, for argument's sake, let's say, God, I can't remember who. Let's say Ninja Theory. It'll never happen, but let's say Ninja Theory do the story. So you build the game and you build how everything functions, and then you have Ninja Theory, just because Xbox owns them and Microsoft owns them as well. Ninja Theory create the story, and you have a liaison between the two to have bits that link in with, so there's elements of story multiplayer, there's elements of but the core gameplay is the same across all of them, but the story is handled by a different studio, and then each one of them, when they come across a problem, they can share the data to the other one. Fixes will happen faster because you've got more eyes on it. You'll have a better campaign experience because it's a dedicated campaign team of a whole studio who can do, you know, and then you've got 343 and all of their however many people work there, and they have their own goals with PvP and the PvE content, like Firefight, which I'm gonna keep hammering on about, but that can be done all by them, and they can focus on that. And let's say you get a new Halo game every 5 years. It's more at the minute, but let's say it's every 5 years. So 343 will be constantly making multiplayer content. All they will do is multiplayer content, and then the other studio has 5 years to come up with a story. And you could move that around. You know, so that, oh, well, maybe Bethesda wanna do a story, or maybe Compulsion wanna do a story. Like, I don't know. Maybe Obsidian wanna do a Halo RPG, but because it's in Unreal 5 and all the assets for the main Halo titles, the mainstay stuff, they can just pull those assets and then work it into the game that they want to tell. Like, I don't know if that's how game design works. I'm probably way oversimplifying it. But that's what Halo should be, the kind of license that is supported by multiple studios over multiple years. And everybody gets a crack at it, like Star Wars. It's big enough to be Xbox's first-party Star Wars style universe, where anybody, now that EA deal's over, anybody can make a Star Wars game. Now obviously it's anybody within the Xbox Game Studios umbrella, and it would solely be for Xbox and PC. That's how Halo should be moving forward. Not releasing a broken game, not putting content out for 12 months, and still having desync issues 18 months after its release. It's just... And this speaks more into, and we'll probably touch on this in a video that's coming up when we look towards what we hope is going to be announced and what could be announced at the big press conference in June. Xbox higher-ups need to have more force, more focus, crack the whip on some of these studios so that you don't get a release like Halo Infinite, you don't get a release like Redfall. Let studios have their own vision, do their own thing. Make sure it's a good fucking experience.
Are going to take more time.
Yeah.
You know, so we could kind of keep piecemealing.
This shouldn't
and kind of
be
chipping
happening.
away
There
at
shouldn't
things,
be a
which,
problem in
let's just be
season
honest,
3.
has not really been working that well for us
Where
because we're not able to keep up.
Settings
and
are
move
getting
fast enough.
changed.
I am excited about
We
this
should be past that.
potential to do more drastic measures, but I do want to note that the trade-off there is it is just going to take more time.
Yeah.
So,
And if they've been looking at it on a case-by-case basis, there's been that many issues with it. Stuff doesn't get looked at.
Season 4 is going to be
Frustrations
awesome.
get
It's
higher.
not going to magically address a lot of these key issues. These are things that are just constantly in motion, and we're just trying to keep making progress against. So, not trying to be a downer. I'm very excited for Season 4, but I just want folks to know it's not going to magically, quote, fix networking. That is that's just a big...
Networking. Xbox Live was launched off the back of Halo 2. That game made Xbox the multiplayer home, the bastion of 4v4, 8v8, 12v12, whatever it was. That game, Halo 2, made multiplayer gaming a thing on consoles. I know it's a different studio, I know it's a different time. We should be past all this.
A big ball of yarn to unravel, and a lot of people are involved with that right now.
I mean, I heard someone gave me an analogy the other day where they're like, "Hey, imagine it like a tree. We've been pruning a bunch of the branches that are closer to the outside, like, let's talk about what we can do with more drastic, not cuts from a
burn it
feature
down.
perspective, but cuts from
I don't mean that.
like where we start pruning
your tree.
Yeah, your tree.
The cuts on the tree.
Yeah, on the tree. Not the game.
Okay.
I also want to give a shout out to, even though many players know these issues have kind of been around, or they might seem like no-brainers, it is still super important for us to get support tickets submitted.
Yes.
Because that gives the team direct access to player account information and session details and things that we just can't get from social media. So I guess my other ask to players is, like, don't assume that it's already been reported, or don't assume that your ticket doesn't need to be filed. Like, I think we need as much information as we could possibly get, and every
100%.
bit helps. So remember to go to aka.ms/support
with the game,
and keep those tickets coming, even if it feels like you're just sort of shouting into the void. I promise you that data is 100% being utilized by the team on a regular basis.
Or buy a camera and a microphone and shout into the void like I do.
You are not shouting into the void. We have a process for making sure that we stack rank the sentiment issues, the technical issues, and part of that, a major part of that,
this is therapy
is not
for
only
me.
the
I'm
community
sorry.
sentiment
This is like Halo therapy,
or the user research sentiment that we get from our surveys, but absolutely from the tickets, the actual tickets that are filed against bugs or issues through support. So absolutely, that is very, very useful signal for us.
Good.
Awesome.
I genuinely feel that they do listen to the community.
I think
genuinely. And I said that before, but
that's our number one hottest
that's the vibe
issue.
I'm getting from this.
TLDR, it's an issue. We're aware of it. We're working on it. We are also super annoyed and frustrated by it. As Sean mentioned,
it's good that they can come out and say that they're annoyed by it.
The team is going after multiple things that could be at the root cause of this.
Yep.
But I think, as everyone probably knows, the game development's a little bit like a house of cards. You change one thing, there's a lot of other things that could happen there. So I think we have to be very measured before we roll out anything. But I just want to say the studio agrees. We're also annoyed by this, and as soon as we have a verified fix, we're going to get it out to players.
Yeah. I mean, what is the number one thing PR talks about when we're in reviews of product? It's quality. It's like, we need to go after fixing these things. It is a priority.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I guess too, Sean, I think we might get to this, but I think I also just want to acknowledge, I think I understand some of the frustration where it's been months and players maybe aren't hearing enough dialogue about these.
Many months.
If you want to talk about that for a minute, because we have been a little bit more measured, I think, in kind of what we're able to say and when we're able to say
it. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, so we are going to talk. Can I hint at what we're going to talk about a little bit later?
Yeah, I mean, we can start.
So, I mean, I know one of the things we are going to talk about customization today, and it has been on our top 10 hit list to address the feedback and concerns players have around like cross-core and that desire.
No, you just said the words.
Oh, am I not supposed to say?
Cross-core is the biggest. Why do you need loads of different cores for Armour? Right, okay. Halo. Oh my god, this video is going to be so long. It's stuff I've said before, but I keep ranting on it because it's not getting fixed. In Halo Infinite, you have 8 different sets of armor, and each set of armor is limited to what you can equip on it. No, one set of armor, everything goes on it, any color you want, any gauntlet you want, any helmet you want. Just fucking do it. You should never have had an idea where, what if we just lock certain things to certain things? No, that's not what Halo's ever been about. Halo has been about making a Spartan that you know, full customization of your Spartan for multiplayer, right? Full customization can mean you look like a complete fucking idiot, or you actually try and make it and pair it into the Halo universe, like I always do. I always try and make my Spartans look like they would belong in the Halo universe. It's my avatar in that world, right? You can't do that. There's gauntlets that I want on my chosen Spartan armor. It's better to do this. There's Spartan chest pieces that I can't use with the armor core of the helmet that I like because it's locked to a different one with a helmet I don't like.
No, it's fine. Chat.
We're only 20 minutes into
Every
this.
time someone says crosscore, it's supposed to take a drink.
Take ages. Stop frustrating me. Get so worked
Chat,
up.
it's
It's
just
a
like
little early for that.
chat. Pat
Get
says he
so
said the
worked up with
words.
Halo.
Yeah, but it is Friday, I guess. It's still a long day. Yeah, so we haven't spoken about it, right, since that one time, and
No, you
and
haven't.
a lot of stuff has happened, and this isn't about making excuses, but from a communication perspective and from a cross-core perspective,
You failed.
specifically because they're really intertwined in cross-core, the feature or problem set or challenge that exists as a like the fact that it hasn't been spoken about so much is a really good example of what's been happening in the studio. So
that's because crosscore is so baked into the idea of what they wanted to do for multiplayer that they can't remove the shackles, isn't it?
Don't need to talk too much, but like we've had a lot of stuff go on in the studio over the last year, like a lot of stuff.
They have.
And in general, we've been quieter because our studio leadership, well, there's two reasons I would say. Our studio leadership has really pushed us to lean very much into the idea that product leaders like myself, my job is not to say what feature is going to get me. My job is not to.
We're 45 minutes in, I've just realised I've spelled infection wrong. I missed a C. Is that right? It was even on the thing when I spelled it. Oh god, what an idiot. There we go. You can tell this is a one-man band, can't you? What else have I spelled wrong? Halo Infinite Season 4. Okay.
To say...
like, I'm not perfect. I might rip on them for certain things. I make mistakes too. But my mistakes don't cost money. This is all free for you guys.
Go do this exactly like that. My job is to take what I know our business and engagement goals are, what I know our player sentiment priority list is, like what our players want and need, and to clearly define and prioritize for the development team, the implementers, and challenge them with challenges to go and solve those challenges. Go figure those things out. Okay. Because the implementers, the people who are building these features, those are the ones who are going to really know exactly how to get those things done, and more importantly, when we can get those things done. And we obviously did this before, but I think there's been a real focus on this process and the discipline around it. And what I found is as we've been doing that, we were also challenged with the not talking about stuff as frequently. And so Pierre directly challenged us because he was saying, look, like, if we're going to talk about stuff, there has to be rigor and discipline around the predictability of when we will deliver those things. And that has been the way that I've been operating since we started talking about
if that's true
and things like that. And so folks hear me say, hey, I'm not ready to talk about that, or we're not promising that. That's really why that's happening.
I'd be happy for them to say, look, we're looking at it. It's not going to happen right away.
Time where
we'll keep you updated.
Really pushed this responsibility of answering how we're going to solve these challenges to the dev teams and the implementers. We actually, and it's kind of a duh, we get much clearer feedback on when things are going to be able to be done, and how the best way to do those things is. And so with CrossCore, it was a perfect storm. With CrossCore, when it was talked about on that stream, I believe it was a community live stream, it wasn't exactly one of those things where the team was fully aware that it was going to be spoken about that way, or that the team had the solutions that they thought were the right ones, or would be feasible given all of the other stuff that we have to do. And that created a situation where we couldn't really...
They shouldn't be in this situation. They shouldn't be in a situation where they're just fixing everything. The whole mindset was wrong from the start. That's what this is telling me. And no, I'm not throwing shade on the guys who have done it. The higher-ups. Bonnie Ross, who made the decisions, ultimately. And she's gone now, so... You know, I don't have any problems with Bonnie Ross. I don't think she really led this company very well. But as a person, I have no problems with her. But the buck stops with her. Just like right now, we're at a point where everything that's wrong with Xbox, the buck stops with Phil. Now, I don't want Phil to go. Phil has done wondrous things to the Xbox brand. but he's stagnated. And we need a little bit of a shake-up. We need somebody to go in there and say, look, pull your finger out, get a grip of everything, start applying a little bit of pressure. Halo 5, I think, was the start of the overall Xbox decline.
We talk about anything because there wasn't much to talk about and the team was trying to figure it out. Things were changing. Yeah, go ahead. You had it.
Yeah. So you're saying essentially slower on the communication because we want to make sure we verify and vet all of the work, the planning ahead of time.
Yeah, let's do it the right way.
Have more confidence in speaking to those things moving forward.
That's fair.
Yeah, because the team needs to feel empowered and feel agency to deliver things the right way instead of feeling trapped by things I might say. Like I don't want to. That's not what I want to do. That's not my job. If I do that, I fail. Right? If I write a check for the team that they don't want to sign for, that's not fun.
You mean like how you signed us up for video podcasts?
Exactly right. But I'll help you with that. No, I'm just kidding. I won't help you with that. I'm gonna have a camera. I have a webcam you guys can borrow. No, yeah. So there's that, and then the other part I was just gonna say, like, from a historical perspective, we didn't talk about it again then because leadership changed. I came in and started driving more of the priorities and what we were going after. And when we looked at what was possible, I looked at the number one business and sentiment issue, which was delivering seasonal content and experiences with better predictability and consistency. And that's what the team was then focused on. And they were our dev teams from an implementer perspective on up. That was their focus. And we weren't ready to talk about cross-core because they were trying to address other issues at the same time. So that's where the communication comes from. And I think now, because of the discipline that we've installed across the team and the adherence to process and those principles, communication can be much clearer and should be. But that doesn't excuse the quietness. Like, people should feel frustrated. They can feel frustrated. Yeah. I'm not a person who tells people off.
We're frustrated. Yeah.
Oh, there is a community post up. So this was done on the Discord stage feature. Okay, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on Discord. As a quick overview, Season 4 arrives June 20th. Premium Battle Pass and Shop will include individual versions compatible with all Armour cores. Good. All new progression system with military-style ranks. Yes, we're going back to Halo. Official Forge remake of the Halo 5 map Plaza. First bonus XP weekend as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Should have just read this instead of...
Well, I mean, people have been asking, like, well, what is the leadership's priority? And we talk about player sentiment and kind of the health of the community in the game all the time, right? And we have data that gives us a lot of insights there. We know all these things we touched on, from customization to stability to...
Shit, I've just seen the picture for Season 4. I understand how infection's coming back. Okay, so they are... Jesus, we need to talk... Right, there's a lot of Halo stuff we need to talk about then.
Networking. All these things keep kind of dragging us down, right? Yeah. And they're top of mind for our players. And these are things that are top of mind in the team all the time. Also, we have a new season coming up in a month. And it's just like, I guess I'll just say, this sounds very obvious. It's just very hard. And there's just a lot. There's just so many balls in the air. But I think we all feel bad that we can't give more frequent updates.
Yeah.
But we also know people are tired of hearing hey, we hear you. We're working on it.
Yeah.
It puts us in a little bit of a rock and a hard spot, so to speak. People are really wanting to get more into cross-core.
Are they in the chat? Just what?
I want to be clear. Like,
should we talk more about development?
Well, I want to get. Let me get to that.
I'm just kidding.
By the way, that wasn't meant to be like Sean's response to cross-core. We were kind of I was asking a bit broader question about why haven't we been saying more about everything all up over the last few months, of which cross-core was one. But most people were like, wait, that's not an answer about cross-core. But that wasn't the goal yet. We're going to get there in a minute.
Yeah, no. Also, I'm easily distracted.
We're going to get there. But Sean, before we get into kind of what what can people expect with customization?
Yes.
I do like some of the information you had shared with us earlier, and I think it would be good context to look at bigger picture. Where are we going with player customization? Like, what is the team's vision, and like, what is the feedback that you and the team have latched on to that?
I'm not. No one's going to watch this
you're
anyways,
working against, and not even like immediately, but just broader. Like
the most, I'll take it at the highest level because I'm again not going to write checks.
But nothing bad to say anymore.
From a philosophical perspective, the challenge that I present the team with is like, hey, our customization story, our customization like philosophy needs to address depth, breadth, and value. So I can go into that a little bit. Like, we really want people to be able to invest in their Spartan story, their Spartan,
I'll pause it for the important stuff. Yes, like I've said, my Spartan is my avatar of myself in the Halo world. Like Halo 3, I had a Spartan. Halo 2, I had a Spartan. But it really just kicked up for me in Halo 4 when they brought in the Spartan 2. The Spartan 4s, right? Spartan 4, there's a whole lore thing behind them. It's very complex. There's a lot of story there. Basically, at that point, anybody can become a Spartan, right? And that's where 343 absolutely nailed this multiplayer idea. Because it isn't just a limited number of the Spartan 2s. It's a totally new thing. There can be as many of them as you want, right? And I designed, like Halo 5, I've probably shown off at some point. Halo 5, I had this whole story for every piece of my Spartan's armor that started out in Halo 4. It evolved. I had the same helmet that I now can't use because they've fucked up the design. Deadeye, go watch my Season 3 review. The Deadeye helmet is just atrocious. I'm not getting into that because this is going to be way too long if I do. But for me, the progression of the multiplayer side and the PvE multiplayer stuff will hopefully come. It's my Spartan going out on missions. It's my Spartan training. It's my Spartan kicking about in the holodeck, shooting fellow Spartans in a squad, moving around, whatever. What I really like about what they're doing with Infinite is the cutscenes for the multiplayer stuff. It's my Spartan. So if I upgrade my gear, if I change the colours, if I do this, you can see it in there. And I really like a representation of me being in that world. Maybe that's because I just like roleplay stuff. I like roleplay games. I like seeing an aspect of myself, an avatar of myself, in these games that I love, right? Which is why I've always wanted a Halo universe-style Mass Effect game. So this is good.
Imagine who they want to be as a Spartan, but that's very different for different people. That
should be what it's about.
Let's talk about depth for a second. Depth is, you have your Spartan Mark V Reach sort of like kit that you want to build out, that you're really interested in developing, that is like very military heavy, and like we want to support that. So we need to be able to support players going deeper into the sorts of Spartan player fantasies that we create. So that's one avenue. That means creating more customization content for things that we've released and to keep on adding into those spaces, right?
Yes.
Breadth is really about driving and facilitating and exploring.
And for me personally, this is my take. If you have a different view, I absolutely understand, and you are welcome to it, and there should be something there for you. But in my Spartan canon, there's no such thing as cat ears, or a flower that's attached to your helmet, or a teddy bear that's attached to your armor. That doesn't work for me. That is cheapening the Halo world. But there's people out there who want to do that, and they should be free to do that and express that, and there should be more customization options for that. The MCC, they added, in the later stages, they added so much crap that just doesn't look like Halo to me. All of the Halo 5 armor doesn't look like Halo to me. To me, personally. People love it. People love that kind of customization. People want their Spartan to look as stupid as possible. That's fine. You should be allowed to do that. But I feel like they went down the stupid route more than they have with the actual good-looking armor. From a personal point of view. And I've critiqued the armor customization multiple times through season 1. I don't know if we did season 2, but season 3 as well. There isn't much that I feel fits in the Halo universe.
Other fantasies, Spartan fantasies that we may not.
Not saying that I'm right, by the way. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a right to be there. It absolutely does. The battered armor, it's not my aesthetic. I love everything about up to Halo 4. I love everything about every design choice. I love the Bungie era stuff. I love just like Halo Reach, for instance. Halo Reach is an older mark of armor, the Mark V. There's options in there that I personally wouldn't wear, but every one of them fits the aesthetic. From Halo 4 onwards, we don't have that. Halo 5 has its own art style. As an art style on the whole, it doesn't work for me, but every one of the armor pieces in there fitted that art style that they designed. Right? Halo Infinite, they've gone into the, and this is going to sound really wrong, I don't know how else to say it, but the Fortnite anime style crap that the younger generation want. But as old Halo vets, as old Longbeards, Greybeards, we want traditional as well. I'm going to stop labouring this point and hear what they have to say. But, like, both options should appear. But both options should appear and be accessible to every piece of armor. They shouldn't be locked in certain ways. And I think that's where they're going, by the sounds of it.
Explored yet. And so that's really what the cores were meant to do initially. But I think that we misstepped in some of that, where it's like some cores are very similar, and like ultimately what we want to do going forward is deliver experiences even within a core that are allow you to explore books, right? Because you have that person, right, who maybe wants to have, like, my Spartan is very much a Reach Spartan with a simple purple coating.
Let's say purple for sure.
Purple. I love purple, right? That was my number one goal. I love purple. But to get that in there, but then, like, I also know, and I joke about this, but this is true. Like, there are people, and I'm not trying to rile people up specifically, but like people like cat ears. Guess what? Lots of people like cat ears. Lots of people like different things, and you know, we want to support that too, because those are just as valid explorations from a design perspective and from a player fantasy perspective as anything. And I can't read the chat right now, but if we are going to answer the crossword thing, so
no, it's
okay.
Yeah.
I just see
cat ears.
Yeah, purple cat ears are the best.
You just described Spartan.
Yes, and then the last
actually is your Spartan.
The last sort of
should have the cat ears.
Tenet is like really about value. Okay, so
but
like
the cat ears should be available on every piece of armor and every helmet.
I know people don't like talking necessarily about the business components of a game, but the money that we make from customization sales and battle pass sales, which are driven by customization, is the way that we fund our development for.
And here's the other problem with the games industry right now. The only way that they can make the money that they need to develop these games, and this is why they're all broken, not all of them, but a lot of them are broken when they come out, is because game development is so expensive, right? The infrastructure, the teams, the equipment, the rent on buildings, the electricity, the heating, there's like real world boring stuff. It is expensive. That's why almost every game has some element of battle pass. And there's free options, and then there's, you know, you can buy the full battle pass, and then there's on top of that, there's content that you can buy. And I'm okay with that, as long as it's not predatory. Halo got that wrong, but they weren't the worst offenders. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. The problem is, while you have to have that to fund games and still charge, you know, top back for the game, in a free-to-play multiplayer space, the way that they make money is to make you buy the customization, and they play into that. 100%. But that doesn't marry up with the core idea that they're going to restrict certain things. If I buy a helmet, I want to use it on all of my armors. Not that I'd buy a helmet. I buy the season pass. In fact, I bought one season pass, and then I've had the silver to buy the next ones as I've played through, because they give you enough silver to buy the next battle pass. And but I think it is important for a game that I love, regardless of how much I play it, to buy the season pass. I used to buy season passes for Destiny 2, even if I wasn't going to play them that much, even if I knew I wasn't going to play them, because it's that little bit of extra support, right? So, and they're similar ideas with customization and the predatory nature of it. But we live in a world where we have to accept that the moneymaker is the cosmetics. The problem is they're overpriced. That's not what they're discussing here, though, but that's just my feelings. I'm just being completely blunt with you on this. And this is going to take a while, and I am kind of sorry. But
like, that is how we make money, and we use that money to build modes and all of the stuff that players want.
Okay. You use that money to build modes and all the stuff that players want, but you're not giving the players what they want. You're still fixing problems from launch. You're fixing problems that were created by other seasons and new content. I get that. That's a code thing. That's going to happen. But there are modes that are missing that should have been there at launch. Infection should have been a multiplayer mode at launch. There should have been playlists at launch that there weren't, and they've added in since. Forge should have been at launch. Firefight should have been at launch. The Halo experience is all of this stuff combined in a quality package, right? If that quality package is kind of serviceable for 6 months, fine, there's still the content there. This game shipped with very little content. You can't then turn around and say, yeah, we've been developing this for 6 years, but, you know, actually, we can only afford to make this stuff by selling you overpriced content packs of customization stuff that, you know, the business philosophy at the studio has been wrong with this game. And I'm not saying that there isn't a happy medium that links everything in together. But why would I buy a content pack? Why would I buy helmets or shaders or weapon skins or warthog skins if I'm not actually going to play the multiplayer? Because you don't have a mode that I would spend so much time playing in. Yeah, I just said I buy the season pass because to support them, although I've only bought one out of the 3 or 4 that I've had. And I use my Microsoft rewards anyway, so it's not even money. To be honest, yeah, it's odd. It frustrates me that it's Halo that is, and I get that's how they make money. But if all the previous games had this stuff at launch, pretty much, Halo 5 didn't. Halo 4 might not have. No, I think for Halo 4 did. But if basically all the other games have had these core aspects of Halo already built in, what you should then be doing is launching Halo Infinite with Firefight, Infection, Forge Mode, Campaign, all the multiplayer stuff, proper playlists of, you can select Big Team Battle, you can select 4v4, you can select SWAT, you can select Rumble, you can select, you know, whatever you want. Maybe a 6v6, maybe an 8v8. Big team. Right? And then when you're in the lobby, you should be able to choose a map. Or veto maps. Or the veto system. Veto system in Halo 3 was incredible. Halo 3 lobbies were the best lobbies in the fucking gaming industry. And we've lost that. You could select a mode, you could then veto maps, you could shit talk people. The amount of back chat that went on between the two teams because everybody was just in a lobby waiting for the game to load. Oh, they were the glory days of multiplayer for me. Just phenomenal. Infinite is, even at this point, 18 months on, it's still bare bones compared to what we had as a launch in Halo 3. And I get it. Gaming costs have changed. Mentalities have changed. What was fun back in 2007 is still fun now. Why do you think they did the Halo MCC, the Master Chief Collection, to bring all those games back under one banner? Because they're still fun. But they found a way to ruin that. They fixed it again, but it's not been run like, you know what I mean.
And so if we are not providing value for players,
you're not providing value because you're not providing the game modes. Instead of having 9 armor skins, 9 armor cores, have 1 armor core and firefight.
By creating that depth or that.
These guys are doing their job, right? They're restricted by the business practices of the higher ups. Like, my frustration isn't with them, it's with the higher ups. But Jesus.
Breadth or creating higher quality items, then we're not going to make any money, and it's not going to be a virtuous cycle, right? Yeah. And so
you are the flagship. I was going to say franchise. Franchise. You are the flagship franchise of the entire Xbox ecosystem. You have numerous books about your lore. You have comics about your lore, graphic novels. You have a terrible series on Paramount, but it's still a series. There is a lot of money in the Halo brand. Action figures, and I don't know why they're not in the UK, but action figures. Mega Bloks have a whole range of Halo stuff, right? There's so much. The license spin-offs, they make so much money in Halo. You cannot turn around to me and then say, we need to sell you the same coating for 9 different armors at £5 a pop so that we can make Firefight. I don't buy it. If Microsoft truly wanted this to be free to play, and the Halo multiplayer is, you've got to buy the campaign, but the multiplayer Infinite is free to play, right? To open it up to as many people as possible. And that's why you have these options, right? But you do that knowing that you've got to build it up. You deliver and then you show people why they should be paying and giving you money. You don't release it in a bad state, then have people giving you money anyway, and then say, oh, we're using that money to fix what should have been here at launch, but wasn't. It's not good enough.
That's where that value comes in. We need to create value. And that's, to me, where the cross-core conversation comes in. Because, I've seen this sentiment. Like, I've seen people say, I'd be more comfortable buying this thing if I knew it was like something that I could use later on. What if you stop supporting this core? He's pointing at himself. Maybe he corners me every day and says that. Like, I don't.
Sentiment would be at an all-time high if everything was free.
But we can't.
So,
I know. I'm not saying everything should be free
because I have to.
I know that was a facetious comment from Sketch, but I'm not. Personally, I don't think everything should be free. Everything has a monetary value. Somebody has spent time making this, and all right, they're paid by the studio, but the studio should get something back for that. I completely get that. That is why you buy a video game for 70 quid, right? Or you have a Game Pass subscription, or however they want to do it. They need to make money on every element of what they do. But some things should be included in the base fucking cost.
You need to do from a business.
And expectations should be pushed. Right? It should be, we expect this. Because it's always launched with this. So that is a staple. So the next launch, they give you a little bit more value because the games are a little bit more expensive. Then the next launch after that, they give you a little bit more value. And that doesn't have to be new game modes. That can just be your big team battle is now 30 players instead of 24. What they should have done is launched it with all of the usual features that a Halo game launches, and then at Season 3 or Season 4, after all this extra money's come in from this extra revenue of buying these cross-core content packs, or ideally just customization options to use on your one armor in the ideal world. Like, right, we've now had enough money come in that we've been able to develop 150 big team battle. Go and play. Not big team. Battle Royale. So they basically now have Halo Warzone. Because the money from the packs and the season passes and all the boosts and things that you can sell, that has all come in. Here's another shitty thing that they did. They've changed it now. But you never used to get... You only got the challenge thing, and we've talked about challenges as well. But you could only get XP to level up your season pass by completing challenges, which is using certain weapons, kill so many enemies, play certain game modes, all this stuff, right? They weren't user-friendly, in my opinion. They're better now, but they're still not something that I enjoy. And then you'd buy XP boosts. So, alright, your season pass is only 100 levels. But the grind wasn't enjoyable because there was no XP from finishing a game. You didn't get 10 XP per kill, right? So you kill 10 people, you get 100 XP. Which is how Halo used to work. They completely changed the system, and they ruined it, and they're still trying to fix it. And it's better now. You get a bonus every match for having the season pass. You get a bonus for playing certain game modes because that's the featured weekly game mode. You get a bonus for just playing. That's how it should be. But you don't get bonuses for the amount of kills or negatives for the amount of deaths. I'm not saying that you should focus on negatives. But if you have a positive KD, you get an extra 5%. As a thing, you get 10 kills, right? 10 kills. You died 9 times. Okay. So you get 100 XP for your kills, and we'll give you 10 XP because you died less than you killed, and you had a positive KD. Right? Just little things like that used to factor into the old Halo system. The ball was fumbled at every point with this.
Perspective, yeah. And then what we need to do from a player perspective.
Can you tell this bit frustrates me?
Like what they really want, and like the messed up part is that I'm such a I love the franchise, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I want to go give you guys all that, but then I'm like, wait a second. I also want to keep giving you stuff later on.
I get that.
So I need to sell some stuff too. It's just
I appreciate that.
We're never going to nail it. We're always going to be trying to do the best thing.
Yeah. No, it's a very fine line to walk. Yeah. And, we get to sometimes have the luxury of not having to worry about the business realities, and we can just yell at you that players don't like this stuff. Please change it.
Yeah.
I want to call out too, because some people in chat are pointing this out, and I know this is a pretty common theme in game communities, but to be very clear, no one has made a decision to say we're going to ship more cat ears and not fix servers.
Oh yeah, no.
The reality is these are completely different teams.
Different teams.
It's sad
we have outsourced partners that are making content.
Some
of these things have been in development for months already. So it's there's no trade-off internally with well, we're not going to fix networking this month because we want to put some new shop bundles out.
And I hope
these are parallel paths.
I
mean, at the end they do converge when it comes time to release an update, obviously, but. I think we've all maybe had frustrations with other properties that we enjoy where it's easy to say the devs are prioritizing the wrong thing. And I want to just make sure that people know the team is focused on a lot of things. It's not as simple as just a black and white trade.
Yeah. So
I was going to crack a cookbook joke.
I almost got a professor analogy. I was going to say, yeah. Well, the budget that we use to buy the flour and stuff, which I think of as customization, right? I really want a croissant right now. So the butter and the flour and the making that dough and folding, whatever. That's different than the cost of paying for the rent and the website and all those things that we used to sell those croissants online, whatever. Maybe that's actually a really bad analogy and I'm failing here with my food analogy. But my point is the resources we use to make customization content, design that customization content, implement that customization content, all of that stuff is different than the resources we have to implement features or
different teams do different jobs.
Yeah, those
different
are
people have different specializations,
and they are not in conflict, and their priorities are not in conflict.
Yep.
And we are not saying, but that is the way it is. We're talking very specifically about customization.
And it's sad that they have to.
I mean, I think we could go on about this for hours, because another kitchen analogy that I could pull in from cooking.
We're just hungry.
It's like an episode of Chopped, right? Where you're like, hey, we have feedback that our fans want pizza, but then Sean, you have like a hibachi grill, a skewer, some eggs, and like some heavy cream. That's all you have to work with. Yeah. And I'm kind of alluding to the fact that, like, in some instances, some of the things that we know players ultimately would like, we might also like, but it's not realistic within the realities of the game and the system that we have today.
That was very well
right.
I think you're setting me up to talk about crosscore.
I mean, I am, because
it's perfect. It's a great analogy.
Like, it's even back. Hey, just let it. We want to go back to the way it was in the old Halo games. We want to earn all of our stuff, and everything's just based on engagement and free. And while I really appreciate the work the team's done to increase the value, and
actually, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in on that. The old games nailed customization. They nailed the delivery of customization, and they nailed the experience of play to earn. Right? There should still be an element of that. In the campaign, you find lockboxes all around the world that give you certain pieces of armor or certain skins or certain emblems. The level of customization in Halo Infinite should always be more than the previous game. Well, Halo 5 had less customization than Halo 4. Halo 4 had less customization than Halo 3 and Reach, right? The Bungie customization system, your emblem, you could individually tweak certain elements, not just colors, but certain design elements. I had the cowboy cat. Cowboy cat is something that's very close to my heart, right? It's an emblem that I absolutely adore. It was my emblem through my entire Halo career. I can't have it in this because they've changed it. And things will get changed and tweaked, and art design will be different. But I cannot make a cowboy cat emblem in this game. I even had it in Halo 5. Wasn't perfect, but they've just got rid of it for Infinite. If they sold that emblem, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Right? It's not in the game, so they'd have to sell it at this point, or it would be a season pass unlock. But the old system was so much better, but that's when financially the gaming world was different, and they've made this point, and I've made this point. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have that, right? You should still have unlocks for playing. Doesn't matter what they are. They can be colors, they can be a helmet, they can be gloves. Maybe you have 9 different pieces of armor, right? And they all link together to make the same. It's one armor set that you can only earn by playing the campaign, or by finishing the campaign. Or legendary, you get a certain special armor set. None of that's there. That's as core to the Halo experience as picking up a battle rifle or an assault rifle and shooting a grunt in the head. And they haven't delivered that with Infinite. They didn't deliver it with Halo 5. Halo 5, you leveled up and you might have got a rec pack, which is basically a loot box that you could still buy. And it unlocked certain things. You had no control over what you unlocked. The more you leveled up, the less control you had. Infinite's the same. It's a whole philosophy that is just... It's not good. It needs to go back to the old days. You still need the premium content, let's call, the purchasable content. You still need those. 100%, they bring in a lot of money. But you should also have something for the people who want to play to earn. And not just a free battle pass, or a battle pass where you pay $10 and and unlock everything in there up to level 100, then that's it. There should still be something.
Quality of the things that you can earn, Infinite just wasn't built that way. And I'm going to just say it right here. There's no chance it's ever just going to be burned to the ground and rebuilt up to be something totally different, right?
Everything is connected, right? Like our UI, our development pipeline, the code, every single thing creates these barriers to implementing full cost for it. Like it is always, everything's a challenge.
So let's just talk.
Which takes us back to, it was a poor business decision that was signed off to allow this to happen.
Talk to us then.
Even our test pipeline.
It is.
The way that we test things, like the development was meant to support cores, right?
Yep.
And so
so bad.
We're not
so bad.
The way that it was built was not prepared to handle all the combinatorial shenanigans that could happen with cross-core from a validation perspective, right? We have to figure out how to do that. We are still figuring that out.
Well, why don't you just kind of cut into the meat then? Because I think people are just really want to know, like, what are we saying? What does this actually mean? We've had a lot of nuance, so let me scroll through here and move down on some of our stuff that we're looking at. But you've covered a lot of this. So
I can cover the season 4 stuff. So
let's just let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What can you commit to? Where are we going?
We are committing to. Boy, and I'm going to make sure to be really careful here with the words I use. So starting in season 4, so when we release season 4,
so from everything from season 4 onwards,
and battle pass armor and weapon coatings will be cross core and cross weapon. Okay, shop bundle.
All the shop and battle pass, so everything that is purchased from season 4 onwards will be cross-core. Weapon coatings and armor coatings. He didn't say anything about vehicle coatings, which should be cross-fucking-vehicle anyway.
That include armor and weapon coatings will have coatings available for all of the cores and weapons as individual coatings.
Oh, that's so bullshit. What they're doing now. So it's not one coating, it's multiple coatings for each one of the cores that you have. I wonder what that does to the price.
So people are going to see this and they might think, you are selling us individual coatings. We are not. We decided that before we got the UI, and this is where everything's tied together, even on the back end from a services perspective, where we grant people stuff and it's in your Spartan inventory.
Which fucking moron thought this was a good idea? Not the cross-coating thing, but the idea to split everything off. I hope they lost their fucking job at... No, I don't hope anybody loses their job. But what a moronic decision this whole thing has been. And the fix is... we got to give you them individually in one bundle.
We're going to have to, for season 4, give people individual coatings for each of the things.
Beyond the show.
That is still going to be cross-core, and when we eventually get to the point where we have UI representing cross-core.
So, as a core fundamental, he's using the term cross-core. But it's not cross-core, because it's individual coatings for individual cores. So list the language, right? The language that he's using is to placate, right? It's not his fault. It's how the system has been developed. But these coatings are not cross-core. They are multiple coatings for individual cores.
Those will be one.
And this just laments the failing of their development. They had 6 years to sort this shit out, and this is the best that they come up with. To fix it 18 months down the line, they're still gonna... It's ridiculous.
One core, one coating that you can then equip, right?
So season 4, it's a bunch of different tiles.
Yes.
But you get them all.
You get them all, and you will get them all prospectively for it, yeah.
In the future, moving forward, future cores also to get that coating.
Yes.
So let me just be very clear here. We're talking about new premium coatings coming online in season 4.
And
out
this
of the
is premium
gate.
coatings.
There'll be basically you'll get a version that works on every core.
Yes.
Okay.
In the store and in the battle pass, premium battle pass, the way that the team had to implement it for season 4.
The premium battle pass, right? So not the free one. Any free coatings, if there are free coatings, from what they're saying, it sounds like, will be locked to specific cores. But the premium battle pass that you pay for, the $10 one, will have multiple coatings given away at the same tier.
Because we didn't have the feet, so I don't want to get too technical here. There were reasons why, and it's not a don't trust, just trust me, but there were reasons.
There are reasons why we're useless at this, and we didn't think about designing it with any real user satisfaction and customer satisfaction in place, because our leadership was useless.
Why we're going to...
God, I've really turned on these guys. Like, again, nothing against them personally, but as a company, how they're delivering these systems is beyond a joke.
Be putting the coatings at different levels, and you'll get them for every core there. And then that coating that you get from the premium battle pass will be cross-core moving forward. There were reasons why, and it's not a don't trust, just trust me, but there were reasons why we're going to be putting the coatings at different levels, and you'll get them for every core there.
Fuck me. You got 100 level battle pass. So what he's basically saying is, Mark 7 get a coating at level 1. Mark 5 gets coating at level 3. These are the same coatings. The SPI armor, the new one, gets a coating at level 12. This is all hypothetical, but from what he's saying. So basically, it's the same thing that I gave them shit for when we did the Season 3 review, and they had the same coating per weapon released at different levels. So they are creating a false sense of reward in the battle pass.
And then that coating that you get from the premium battle pass will be cross-core moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in future battle passes, which we aren't talking about right now, I don't think. We can think there. There were reasons why, and it's not a don't trust, just trust me, but there were reasons why we're going to be putting the coatings at different levels, and you'll get them for every core there. And then that coating that you get from the premium battle pass will be cross-core moving.
It's not cross-core. He says cross-core moving forward because it's available for all cores. But having the same shader, or coating, sorry, use their terminology, having the same coating usable on all cores isn't cross-core.
Moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
by definition, it's not cross-core.
In future battle passes, which we aren't talking about right now, I don't think. We can think that.
So Season 6 onwards, because they've talked about 5, they've mentioned that Season 5 is a thing. So don't expect this immediately. Don't expect this year, basically.
There's going to be, I'm getting shaking of the head. But in future battle passes, that'll be represented.
It's going to get better.
It'll be represented.
It's going to get better.
Yes. We hear the feedback that in our battle passes, people don't love things being split across levels.
Yep.
No, it's stupid.
Very clearly. We will be working to address that in the future.
But not in Season 4.
Not in Season 4.
Still that same coding represented multiple tiles.
Yeah.
But beyond.
This is just it's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
But it's not the end all be all solution that we or players are looking for right now. I'd say it's probably safe to say.
Right.
And I think, also correct me if I'm wrong, but they're similar because we have to represent each one of these as like 7 unique pieces.
Yeah.
That also means that like an ultimate reward for now can't be a cross-core coding because we have no way to serve that up today.
Yeah, it would be a very broken.
So they've just said 7. So okay, let's say there's 7 cores then. I'm not sure how many there are. The reward should be 1 level of the battle pass is the 7 coatings. Solved it. Job fucking done.
User experience right now.
But safe to say you would like to get to that point.
Yes.
Okay.
When we get the ability to support in the UI.
Cool.
Yeah.
And last point of clarification.
When they get the ability and the support with the UI. When they get the ability and the support in the UI. So the UI is shit as well. Just use Unreal 5, build the game brand new in Unreal 5, do it properly, take the time you need. I don't think it's an engine problem. I think it's how they've developed it. They've built the game like this. They could use the engine to build any kind of game, to do any kind of system. But they've spent so much time going down this path. It's, as I said earlier, it's so ingrained. The failures of Infinite are so ingrained with the development that they are not going to be able to fix this in any acceptable time by other than inflating. Well, they're not even inflating the rewards. Are they giving you less rewards? It's not. It's moderately better, but it's still nowhere near good enough where we should be at 18 months in.
I want to call out.
On my personal view, you tell me in the comments that I'm wrong. But I do not feel, if you are paying for something and they are saying it's cross-core, he has repeatedly said in this, Sean has said, this is cross-core. It's not cross-core. It's an item that you're paying for that's available 9 times. You're buying one item 9 times. Whatever, I don't know what the value for that is going to be in the shop. But you are buying 9 cores that are all the same. That's what this is. Or you are unlocking 9 cores through 9 different levels of the battle pass that are all the same. It's all the same reward. You are earning the same reward 9 different times just so they can call it cross-core.
And that's not because the UI team's not crushing it. They're absolutely crushing it, but it's like, hey, what can we do right now? Because we were thinking about holding some of this stuff until it was like perfect.
Yeah.
That's not the right thing to do.
Yep.
And so we were like, okay, we're going to have a little bit of
is a disaster.
acceptable jank, and we're going
this
to
whole thing
give
is
it
a
this
disaster.
way, and try to explain it.
And these guys are picking up the can.
Right now.
Carrying the can.
I also wanted to clarify, too, we recently added the ability to purchase some cosmetics through the Armour Hall.
Yeah.
So
and that's the story's crap as well.
Any sort of content pre-season 4 that you might buy via that avenue or might even come in the shop
or in the battle passes
would not fit into this model for now.
For now.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to. I want the team to tell me specifically how we can solve that, but I can.
I'll tell you how you solve it. Anyone who's unlocked it, just give them the thing. Job done.
Say it's a flag for us to figure out when I say flag. I don't like a flag to say that. It's a note. We need to figure this out.
The mic's gone super crackly.
So there's a couple questions I think that are obvious follow-ups that are top of mind for everybody. And I'm just going to throw these out to you. One, people are asking, well, what about all the past codings that we've already released?
Yeah.
And how should we think about that
codings.
in a world where
we don't know.
As we've been discussing transparently, we don't have a fully vetted, realistic plan right now that solves all these problems.
Yes, we have about, and you know firsthand, like
I do
from reviewing all these things, because folks on the call, there are 2 people that I go and talk to very frequently.
For the first 30 minutes of this, when they were just chatting shit, they were doing really well. And then when they get into it, you see the kind of crap that they have to deliver to the community. You no wonder they did this on Discord. If this was on YouTube, the amount of flack they'd get in the comments. Jesus. This is disappointing. I see the end goal. I absolutely want them to deliver on the end goal, right? As a stopgap, this is the best we're going to get, whether I like it or not, right? 99.9% of these coatings I'm never going to use. I have a coating that I like on my Mark 7 armor. Mark 7 is the only armor I'm going to use because that's the only one that has stuff in every option that I like. And I love the new Mark 7 helmet. especially because they've ruined my Deadeye helmet, right? I keep banging on about that. It looks horrible, but the Mark 7 is a very nice helmet, so I'm always going to use the Mark 7 armor for me personally, right? So, and I have a color scheme. I've got a really nice green and an orange color scheme that sounds horrible when I say it like that, but you'll see it at some point. It's really nice. I love it. So I'm happy. None of this is really going to affect me. But as somebody who is a very, very, very tiny voice in this massive community, I still feel that it's my responsibility. Yes, I'm overstepping my level, my station, but as somebody who can rant into the void with a microphone, who has chosen to set themselves up like this and likes to cover content like this, likes to do this, regardless if anybody watches it, right? Nobody could watch this. But I'm still voicing my opinion, and I think it's backing the community up on the whole. Not everyone, but I think like generally the community feels the same. I appreciate this is a stopgap. This is showing us how flawed this system is, how flawed this game is. And I appreciate the end goal that they're reaching, but it's not good enough.
One of them is our business manager, and the other one is Gerard. And we talk about solutions, right? And I've got to find that balance. And we have multiple solutions that we're investigating currently for how we want to deliver previous season coding content. I'm trying to figure out the exact right way of saying it in a way that is what players would want or expect. We are trying to do that. I don't
on
want
the
to say
positive
that
they are looking at delivering old content.
But there are multiple things we are currently
this
investigating as a way to do that.
Props for that, at least, for having that
I'll
conversation.
Just speak on behalf of the team too. I think with every subsequent season, the team will continue to lean into and look for ways to check off the 3 boxes that you just spoke to us about: breadth, value, and what was the other one? Quality. I already forgot. Breadth, depth, and value. And value is kind of what we're getting at. Where
the lists mixed up.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess I would want players to just take away that like this is a step in the right direction. And we really hope to see this story continue getting better with each new season.
Yes.
Not just specifically for like how do you solve all my cross-score problems, but we can't go too deep on this, but there's just really cool stuff coming too. Like one of your visions from a long time ago was like, we can't just rip the whole system apart and overhaul before we've even got it up to where it even needs to be in the first place. Yeah. And there is some really cool stuff.
I don't want to hint at that.
Right. But I'll just say.
I don't want to hint at that. There's some really, guys, community, don't worry. There's some really cool stuff coming. We can't tell you about any of it right now, but it's cool and it's coming. Not enough 18 months in. It's not enough.
Hey, like that is another thing that I think players will be looking forward to. That'll be very cool.
I appreciate that I started this on a negative note, and I was wrong with the setup of this. This is something different that they're trying. I wish it was a video. I wish they were in the studio. I wish that they were actually having the conversation so that we couldn't just hear in their voices, but we could actually see their mannerisms of how they're talking about this. Because these are big things in the community. These are big questions. These are big issues with the game, with the delivery of the service of this game. So being able to see them, like actually see them, I think would help humanize this a little bit more. Which is why when I do reaction videos, the news stories not so much because they're usually quick little snippets. The TOD reads the news things. But for big things like this, where I'm giving you my thoughts on this in a more sort of freehand way, I want you to see my face. When we do reveal shows, I want you to see my face. When I do a movie review, I want you to see my face, even with the blurry camera, right? Not because like you want to see it, because I don't want to look at my face most of the time, but ultimately if I am giving you my thoughts, a review, if I am trying to tell you how I feel about something, you should see my mannerisms, right? You should see how passionate I am if I'm taking the piss. I can convey that better with audio and visual, right? And that's my criticism of this. They're discussing some proper serious things that will impact the next season and the future of Halo Infinite. I'd rather have a full picture. That might just be a personal thing. I get that completely. But that is why you will, for all but the news stories that we talk about on here, you will see me somewhere in the video. Because I think it's important that you see my reaction, you see if it's genuine, you see if I'm being serious, you see if I'm taking the piss. Not that they're taking the piss and not that they're joking around with this, but I wish that we could see them.
Cool. I do want to talk about one thing very specifically that is a very real... It is a very real concern that we have as a dev team around how we can get these things out. So there are tons of combinations. This is the combinatorial problem I was talking about. There are tons of combinations of the way different things in our game can be, if everything were cross-core, can show up. And let's just talk about codings, right? We have to test every variety of those things, and approve them as looking okay through our quality team. We need to make sure that it doesn't break the game for every single coding. And Jesus we also Christ. Have to put new codings that are going to be cross-core into the game and get those tested too across all of those cores.
Yeah, you've got a lot of work to fix the problems of the previous release.
Balance between what can we do proactively right now, what can we do retroactively, but
and I think we can all appreciate that.
Yeah,
where we are right now.
But you're right. I mean, it's a lot. Even I was surprised because it didn't dawn on me. It's just a lot more surface area now to cover for everything. It's just exponentially, right? Yeah. And it's the right thing to do, but we have to now be able to account for.
Or here's how you fix it: you scrap the coating system, and you just let people choose whatever colours they want in the individual segments. If you've played Halo Infinite, if you've looked at the core, the coatings and things, you know what I mean. Let players choose their own. That's how Halo used to be. That would solve this problem. But then that would mean they can't sell you the colours. Because it's all about the money. Ultimately, they have to make the money so that they can keep developing this, right? But look at the problems that mindset has caused.
For that.
Yeah, you've seen all
the Anthem fails in a lot of ways, but the Anthem system, right, of picking your colours, the materials that your suits use, that whole customization side of it, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's what this should have been. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll say it until this game is dead and we're on Infinite 2 or whatever the hell the next Halo game is that these guys are going to make and hopefully not ruin at launch. That's the system that it needs. And that's an old system. That system has been around since Anthem, since before Anthem. There's other games that have used that system. But you can't monetize that system. That's why we don't have it. And because we're so far down this road with this engine, it's been developed in such a way, they can't add that kind of system to the game. Because they'd have to rewrite the whole fucking thing. Because it's been so single-minded, put together on the core system. They didn't even think about cross-core at the time. They didn't think that you'd want to put the Mark 7 helmet on the Mark 5 armor. Or they didn't care. These guys, these four, and there is four of them, there's only really two of them speaking, but there is four of them in this room. These four genuinely care about what the community want. The problem is, 3 of them don't work in a team that delivers on that, and the one that does is so bound to what he can say because they're trying to firefight so many different things that we're in this situation where yet again I'm sat here frustrated with the choices that they're making. Because they shouldn't even be choices at this point. It should never have been a question. Cores should never have been a question. Coatings should never have been a question. When they previewed coatings, there were people coming out and saying, I don't like the system, it's too restrictive. But they couldn't change it. And this is the state of not just Halo, yet again, the biggest property that Xbox own. But this is the state of Xbox. They just took their eye off the ball. This is why I'm frustrated with Xbox. This is why I regret buying a Series X. Should have bought a PlayStation. Alright, I wouldn't have been able to play Halo, but to be honest, the amount of time that I've spent on Infinite, it's not been worth it. In hindsight, I wish I'd have bought a PS5, because I'd have had more games to play, but a better quality of finish. Yes, it would have cost more money, game-wise, because Game Pass is such a good deal for their first-party stuff. It's frustrating. And I don't know how much of an overlap between the overall Microsoft frustrations of the Xbox brand and the frustrations of the Halo community. Don't know how much of an overlap there is. I'd say there's a lot because Halo launched Xbox. Xbox is still a platform because of Halo. Phil Spencer said, and I've covered this before, Phil Spencer said, if we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with the brand. They've lost their way with Halo. They've lost their way with the brand. It's been proven. Look at Redfall. Redfall is an utter catastrophe. I don't see an end in sight. This isn't making it better. This is making it more convoluted.
All the different scenarios we need to cover.
Yes,
it is.
I also, Sean, I think it's the same answer, but I just want to acknowledge also in chat, people are asking like, hey, that's great about coatings. Yep. A lot of people I'm seeing are at least appreciative that we're able to kind of share an update period and that we're at least going to have a little bit of progress. I appreciate that they're doing it. I
appreciate that they're trying to fix it. The problem, my frustration is it shouldn't be a question. We shouldn't be here. They should never have gone down this route. I'm not intentionally shitting on the work that they're doing. It just goes to show you the state of this game and this studio.
Of course, Armour comes up next.
Yes.
What about my helmets? What about my shoulders?
2 years' time, maybe.
That falls in the same category as we have nothing we can commit to today, but is absolutely something the team knows that the community wants.
But that's not good enough.
Something that we're going to continue to look at ways to solve for going forward.
It's not good enough to say we can't commit to it.
Can I talk a little bit about what Pierre challenged us with the other day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll do it anyway. At my own risk.
He's your boss. And your career.
Yeah. So Pierre, the other day, we were sitting talking about like all the different things that we could do to address some of the major sentiment issues, like all the different like ways that we're thinking about going after.
Sean is the weaker for sure.
And Pierre is like, look, like I think it's because we've gotten to a place with what I was talking about earlier, where we are much more leaning into empowering the teams, the implementers to address these things and come up with the exact plan with how they're going to deliver stuff, which then gives you so much more confidence about how you're going to talk about stuff. He brought up, like, you know, he challenged you in particular. He was like, look, I would love it if you found a way, and now I'm putting this all on you, Brian, if you found a way to talk to the community about the stuff that we are doing next, and what we're going after, without overpromising, right? Because we want to kind of underpromise, overdeliver. But how are we going to do that? And so what I'm talking around things right now, but what I would say is, I think there are three categories of things we can talk about. One,
just to point on that, because what they're talking about is very interesting, and I'll break it up, but I don't want to talk over it. That whole mindset of under promise, over deliver is something that so many companies fail. And it's all well and good saying 7 years after starting development of this game. And all right, they started development of the next Halo. It had many different changes because of Halo 5 and the knock-on effect of that, the new engine, the knock-on effect. So I'm not saying they started Infinite 7 years ago, but they started the next Halo project 7 years ago. Under promise, over deliver. They didn't do that. So it's all well and good saying at this point we want to under promise and over deliver, but you're already well past the launch of the game. You should have had that mentality as soon as you started developing. Every game you develop, doesn't matter who you work for, what studio, what console it's coming out on, if it's PC, if it's Xbox, if it's PlayStation, if it's Nintendo, whatever. Under promise, over deliver. Why do you think God of War has been so successful? Why do you think Red Dead was so successful? Red Dead 2. Why do you think The Legend of Zelda, the whatever the new one's called, and whatever the last two Zeldas? Elden Ring, prime example. Elden Ring. Under promise, over deliver. To do that, it starts with that mentality at the start of the development process. How do we take this game we have an idea for and make it so that we blow the fans' minds when they play it? Doesn't seem like that's something that Xbox Game Studios can do.
Category, and we talked about coatings today, is in that category. That is like upcoming. Things that are coming that we have direct line of sight into implementation. We know exactly what they are going to cost us from a other feature perspective, because we have to keep in mind that when we do something, we're choosing not to do other stuff. And so we have committed to these things. We know when they're coming. They will probably be, when we talk about these things, they are going to be in this season or the next season, right? And
so all these fixes is the reason I'm not getting a firefight mode.
That is a one category of stuff, and that is what coatings are. The other category, another category of things, which we might call iterating, is we are committed to going after these things. We are iterating on and investigating going after these things. We do not have the exact solution, or in some cases we might have a good solution, but we need to cost it out from a development perspective. And it could still get derailed if we find some major issue, because we haven't evaluated all of the dependencies. And I know folks maybe don't like hearing this, but there are tons of dependencies on stuff.
And cost it out, just investigation.
Cost isn't
to the weeds.
Yeah, it's like going through and saying, okay, guys, you're going to implement
how much time is this going to take from this person?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And we've not done that. And that is where I would say the cross-core armor like pieces are sitting.
I've got a better example for you. All of these fixes, cross-core armor, trying to work out. I think the performance stuff is a separate team anyway. Actually, no. Maybe the performance is a better example. So all the desync bugs, all the settings issues and resets, and all the stuff that team is working on, the delivery team, let's call them, is working on, is probably the reason that we don't have split screen co-op. Because they had to fix these issues, because the game wasn't ready, because it was built badly. And all the promises that they made, the promise that every Halo game would have split screen, couch co-op, after Halo 5, were forgotten about because they didn't build it correctly. They didn't build an engine, or they didn't work with the engine or understand the engine enough to be able to code that in for release whenever it was ready. Probably because they were pulling people off that idea to put them on to sorting out these other issues. I don't know if I'll be doing another one of these. This is stressing me out. Just to see how And I love how open they are. I love how they're talking about this, and they are being as honest as they can. They're not promising things. They're not giving us any information that isn't in the foreseeable future. That frustrates me because I want to know what's coming. But I understand why they're not doing it, because all of that is subject to change until it's finalized. They can't give us dates on when things will be fixed because it's an ongoing process. I get that. But half of this should never have been an issue in the start. It should have been built into it. We shouldn't have had these problems. Or the system should have been made better. That's how I would describe Halo Infinite. It should have been made better.
It is, and then there's a third area where it's like exploring, and those are things that we want to go do. We have no idea if we're going to be able to do.
Yeah,
that is not where those things are, and I hope that we have more to talk about in the future. And I want to talk about it as soon as we move it out of what we might call iterating or investigating stage to it's coming up.
Yeah.
Then I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
For sure.
And that's where I hope that's an answer to the question for you guys. Maybe not super satisfying, but that is an answer. It is squarely in that.
There is quite a lot of politicking in this as well.
While you were talking, I just want to also, for the room, I did in chat, went ahead and confirmed. I know we get this request a lot. Currently, as far as I know, unless you have new insights as the guy in charge of all this stuff, playable elites are not in active development currently. We know it's on a wish list, not a priority right now. Same thing for assassinations. We know there's a vocal group that would like to see those come back.
Here's the other fucking thing. They brought assassinations in with Reach, because at that point that they were a fairly new thing in gaming. Halo Infinite shipped without assassinations. Now the reason that Halo Infinite doesn't have assassinations is because it takes away from the quick and the speed of the tournament style multiplayer game. 99.9% of Halo's player base don't play at tournament level. But okay, let's assassinations aren't in multiplayer because they slow the game down, right? And they open you up to be killed while you're doing it, okay? Which adds to the fun and the risk and reward element of assassinations. But okay, you don't want them in there because your tournament players don't like them. Why aren't they in the campaign? Oh, we don't have an answer for that.
Back right now, not.
Crosscore should have always been in there. Assassinations. So simple. Firefight. Proper playlists. Forge. Infection falls into proper playlists, but game modes. There's so much that was missing from the core Halo experience in this game. I don't think that gets lamented enough.
Active development.
Yeah, those are
not a priority.
Yeah, those have come probably, if we're talking.
And stuff that's still missing 18 months on.
About those tier things.
We just talked about a laundry list of things that we're already inundated with. Yeah. These are really cool, nice to have things that I think we can't get into that in a serious nature yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we talk about the tiers of things, first tier being the upcoming, that's like 90% sure. We're like 90% sure. The iterating or investigating, that's like probably 60% sure that the solution is going to be coming. And
so where do they fall in each of those?
Exploring, that is like totally speculative, but the team has explored different things, and they have explored. I will say explored with that caveat, the things that we're talking about there. Yeah.
Okay, Sean.
So where does assassinations fall in your scale of exploring of whatever?
Let's pivot. I'm looking at the clock here. I do want you to share a little bit of details about Season 4, and then maybe we can still look at chat. It's moving super fast, and if we have time.
I don't know if I care about Season 4.
We'll throw a couple questions your way, but I wonder.
This has frustrated me to the point that the first thing, right? There's 17 minutes left of this podcast. And they've not talked about Infection or Season 4 or Career Rank. The 3 things that they've said they're talking about on this, they've not talked about.
To reiterate what I said up front, this is not a full season 4 deep dive.
Before we talk about season 4.
Oh, you have another cosmetic?
No, I was actually going to talk about Plaza.
No, that's well, okay. I was going to bring that up as part of season 4. That's the first thing I was going to ask.
Oh,
so there you go.
Oh.
Unicheck, you promised. Plaza was coming.
Wrote a check.
I personally promised when it was already promised somewhere else.
Yeah, it was already promised somewhere else.
Right, but we did previously said the 343's official remake of the Halo 5 map Plaza was originally targeted for season 3.
Yeah.
And then
it needed some more bake.
Yeah, it needed a little more time in the oven. It wasn't quite at the bar we wanted it. It wasn't ready for public release. So we were about a month out. It's not coming in the month we have left. So it is shifting into season 4.
Yep.
From what I've been seeing.
This is the knock-on effect with all the issues that they've had with the behind-the-scenes stuff and making the game work and giving one map. They can't get one map out. All right, we had 2 new. I think we had 2 new maps in season 3, but I don't know which are their maps and which are community-built Forge maps. Like, come on. One map isn't going to sell a season. If it's released in season 3 or season 4, it's one fucking map. You don't have enough of your own 343 built maps anyway. Because you've had so many problems behind the scenes. Or you can't implement them quick enough with the new engine, or you've been gutted with layoffs.
We can't confirm a date today, but it should.
We're never going to get campaign DLC, are we?
Early, yeah.
We're never going to get a continuation of the story outside of a new game.
It's not going to be like at the end of the season.
No.
Like, we want to get it out as soon as possible.
Yes.
I broke Plaza.
John broke Plaza.
Did you?
There you go.
Let's go with that.
This frustrates me.
I'm going
to leak.
So I know that's one question.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one question that the community had, and
it's really fun.
And I get it.
It's really fun.
I want to.
Great map.
It's a really good map.
I'll be transparent too. I know this came up when we had Michael Short on here a few weeks ago, and we weren't able to speak to it at that time. It was a little bit in flux, and we also had to kind of go through an order of operations of who we say things to when, and we just can't have, like, for example, we can't have partners finding out just randomly because somebody else tweets it, right? So that may sound very lame for folks, but we did just have to kind of go through the motions and roll this information out in the right way. But Unicheck can attest, we've been wanting to circle back and give the players an update as soon as possible.
Yep.
So Plaza, it's not that far off, but it will be landing in the early part of season 4.
Yep.
Now, there are 2 other things on season 4 that I think you're permitted to briefly agree to today. I mean, there are a lot of people that are nervous about.
Season 4 is due in 30 days. Give or take. And they're using terminology like that you're okay to agree to. They should be teasing this shit well before this.
4 is going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be really fun.
So
I said that about season 3, and season 3 isn't awesome.
My favorite season.
What are you most excited about for season 4 if you had to pick one thing? And it better be one of the 2 things you're allowed to talk about.
So
Tom's going to give us something completely
of the 2 things that I'm trying to get a picture of my dog in the game. No, I'm not. Maybe season 5. I would say the number one thing that I'm excited about, because it's like very near and dear to my heart, and I personally had a really hard time leaning into being a product leader and saying this is the challenge, and then like not dictating the outcome there, because I just have very strong opinions on it, is career rank. Like, I'm really excited about career rank. Because I think if you look at our experience, Halo has been missing, like Halo Infinite's been missing career rank, but Halo Infinite has been missing these longitudinal, what I call longitudinal progression mechanics, where you can just grind against it forever, right?
Yeah.
And it's fun to grind against it. Career rank, I want to make sure that I don't say too much.
Which is fair.
I can say is that it looks great. It's coming in season 4, and
at launch, by the way. This is
launch,
June 20th. Career rank kicks off.
June 20th. June 20th is when the career rank kicks off. Right, Plaza might be later. June 20th, when Season 4 starts, career rank kicks off.
And we are using military ranks. I almost trolled everybody. I was almost like, we have the best numbers.
We had that in Halo 3 Reach.
Numbers, it goes forever with numbers. No, it's military ranks. We're using military ranks.
Classic.
For sure, because that's Halo, right? We are a military sci-fi shooter.
You are back to what the Halo core
by
is.
all the gray and green outside.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So that's chat seems pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's something that everyone's been looking for. I mean,
yes.
If we go back in time, would we have wanted that there at launch? Of course, we absolutely.
Oh my God, yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Would we have wanted to get it out sooner than season 4? Absolutely.
I was trying.
But is it finally coming in a month? Heck yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Military cat ear shooter is what I'm seeing in chat now.
Yeah. Oh God.
With pictures of Sean's dog on the
Play Halo your way.
People want to know when the dog's being added to the game.
Yeah. My dog's name is Loki. He's a 2-year-old lab.
I agree with that. Play Halo your way.
Golden.
As long as it's within the constraints of the playlist that they give you.
How about I ask? I think this one's near and dear to Unishift's heart. I know you're excited about career rank.
He's a grinder.
What else are you super excited about for season 4, John?
Am I supposed to be the one that says this?
Say it.
Okay.
I'm giving you a softball here.
Okay. The fan favorite, absolutely
Firefight.
sick and terrifying mode of Infection will be launching with season 4. Infection.
There it is.
Let's do this. In fact, I'll drop the image in the edit. I'm not going to edit this much, but I'll drop the video in the edit of the picture that they're showing off for this. Infection definitely fits where they've been going with the story, and I'm going to do a recap. We're going to do a little reaction to the 2 cutscenes that we've had from the little campaigns, and they are better than season 2. Season 2 was disastrous at delivering on this. Season 3 has stepped it up a bit, but there is a story that's going on with the multiplayer progression stuff and the events that they do. So I'll react to that, but I will put in a picture of what they're teasing now, and it looks cool, and in the lore it really does work. So I'm interested to play it purely from that lore vibe of me. And the reason I don't like multiplayer is because it's just, they're quick games, they don't really add anything, whereas this season they seem to be adding a narrative to multiplayer, which is why I dabble in it a bit more. That's really cool. I'm really good. I'm happy with that, and I'm glad that they've implemented something like that. But it also works with the game modes that we're bringing back. But we should have had this at launch. I don't know how many times I have to say this about... Season 7 could still be bringing in features in 2 years' time. Could still be bringing in features that we should have had at launch.
This makes me very happy.
It's confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe some would say one of the worst kept secrets.
I legitimately thought we had already confirmed.
I mean, everybody but us has confirmed it.
Or maybe it was just what I leaked.
Yeah.
I'm not. You know what?
Yeah.
That's not me.
Well, you're like live streaming all of your CMS check-ins, apparently, right? It's getting data.
I like live stream my ADO, like when I'm in ADO, like looking at features. And
it's getting data mined. But yes, Infection is also going live. It's a signature mode for Season 4. It'll be available beginning on June 20th when Season 4 launches. We are super excited for that. Expect a full deep dive on that later.
Yep.
And I think we might have just tweeted out a piece of really cool concept art, just to kind of whet your appetite there. But we're looking forward to that. I do want to call out 2 other quick things here. I'm looking at our notes. As some folks may know, our next HCS event is right around the corner. Coming up 2 weeks from today?
Yeah, the HCS stuff's fun as well. I do enjoy watching those.
2 weeks from today, we have HCS DreamHack Dallas. And that team has let us know, for everyone in attendance there, you'll have an opportunity to get some hands-on time with Season 4 content early.
That's cool.
So that should be fun for anyone that's considering attending DreamHack. Not only for awesome HCS competitive gameplay, but checking out Season 4 early. And of course, DreamHack, as you may know, is a much bigger expo. There's lots of games there. It's a great weekend of competitive gaming beyond just Halo. Second, I want to give people a heads up. This is the first time I believe we've ever been able to do this in Halo Infinite, but we have our first ever bonus XP weekend coming up.
Mm-hmm. Also that DreamHack weekend.
Same weekend, right? So that'll be June 2nd through the 4th. As I understand it, Sean, we don't want to call it double XP. Bonus XP.
No. Unless you want to get the other Sean in trouble.
It's bonus XP weekend, right?
It's a staple amount of XP for every match play.
Every game you play, you just get extra XP. So we're trying to help people kind of, if you want to finish off your pass and kind of get ready for season 4. That weekend might help kind of turbocharge your final stretch there.
Staple amount of XP weekend.
I'm at like level 40 on the season pass, so I've got 60 levels to do, so I'll play that weekend.
That'd be if we put business in charge of marketing.
I haven't played much this season.
It's a chance for you to earn against your battle.
Actually, I've played more this season. I finished off the season 2 battle pass this season.
One of the things I've seen some questions on were like, hey, will we ever be able to have a way to like get content from prior events that we missed?
Yes.
And I know I know you can't get into the super weeds on that, but it is safe to say that the team does have changes coming, not in season 4, but beyond, for just how we're thinking about.
So season 1, they did like weapon attachments or different barrels on guns and different features on guns, and so a lot of the armor cosmetics as well. Like there's a season 1 that I didn't buy because you had to purchase it, right? Which I wasn't going to pay it. It was just a knife on the stuff that used to be earned as you played, right? But it was a knife, just on the chest, light book from ODST, and Halo 5. He has it on his Spartan 4 suit. It just like my Spartan. He's always had ammo pouches, and he's always had a knife. Because every Spartan should go into the field with spare ammo kits and a knife, if possible, like a med kit or a pouch or something on his hip as well, which this one has, but he doesn't have a knife. So I really want that. Never been able to get it, and it doesn't look like it's going to be coming again in season 4, which is a shame.
Yeah, engagement, events, content, like there's changes coming.
Yeah,
right?
like that was so from a sentiment perspective, when we look at our
everything from previous seasons that was to purchase or was part of events. Like the event stuff, if you don't play the event, you don't get it. I completely get that. That's how it should be. But the store stuff, the purchasable stuff they use credits for, that should just be in a constant rotation. You should be able to get season 1 stuff back. Like, that's obvious to me. If you want to keep making money, that's obvious to me.
Battle pass systems and our event systems, one of the number one pieces of feedback was frustration around events and like how they're handled and access to them and like all that. And so we have some stuff coming in season 5 that I can say because
season 5, okay,
within the purview of the development process,
6 months
that I can with clear sight say that there are some changes there that are coming that should make it better. As far as older, and I think there's a level of specificity there that this person's also asking about with like the older events, things that happened that people can no longer access. I can put that squarely in the investigating category, trying to find the right solutions.
Okay.
And the team, that's a challenge that was given to the dev team, the implementers, and they're like, okay, well, what is the right way we can do that through all the various contingencies and issues we might encounter? And then
just to throw a positive in this, if you buy the battle pass, you will always be able to, even if you don't max it out that season, you can still max it out and unlock everything in later seasons, right? That is one of the real positives that they've done with this. So if you've already bought the battle pass but you didn't finish it, you shouldn't be able to, in season 3, buy season 2's battle pass. I disagree with that. That's why I might not complete them, but that's why I buy the battle passes. Granted, I'm not actually buying them. I'm using credits I already have in game that I've earned. But I have them so that they're ready to unlock whenever I want to unlock them. And it just, I suppose it still has that FOMO thing, but a season is many months. And once you've bought it, you don't actually have to unlock it. You could just accumulate all of them and then in 2 years' time think, right, I'm going to play all the battle passes. So You can't get the events, but you can still get the battle passes if you've bought it.
Whenever that's ready for review, I'll review it.
I actually think having Season 2, stuff that was in the Season 2 Battle Pass being sold in Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, whatever, just as an example, I'm okay with that, but you'd have to be very wary at what price you sell them at, because the Battle Passes are good value. Like, there might not be content in there that I agree with, there might not be content in there that I like. On the whole, with the $10 or the 1,000 coins, you get 1,000 coins back through the season. So everything else is effectively free. So I will give them props on the value of them, but how are they going to sell that? And I think that's what he means with investigating it. But that's a bit of a grey area, because if I've bought a season pass, and I don't care, like, everybody can have everything if they want. But I'm sure that there will be parts of the community who will think, well, I bought this, I unlocked it at the time. Why should somebody else be able to just buy it? There's an argument. I don't necessarily agree with it, but there's an argument there. So how they implement that will be very interesting. And will that cheapen the Battle Pass? Or will that make the Battle Pass look like an even better, because it's not just early access to an item, but it's also at a better price? Who knows?
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. We got a couple last minutes here. I'm looking at Chad or John or
So
Sam.
the shop
if y'all
stuff
see anything
from previous seasons should still be in the shop rotation.
In the room here.
There was a question earlier that I saw someone ask, is it true MCC servers are shutting down? As like a rumor. I've never heard that rumor before. Don't worry, MCC servers are fine.
We love MCC.
MCC isn't going anywhere.
MCC will remain.
Yeah, in fact, MCC's crushing it, and that the recent win of getting it officially kind of verified on Steam Deck is pretty awesome.
MCC
And I think
has
that
more
team,
players than Halo Infinite.
I don't want to steal. Actually, you know what? Well, I'm going to stop talking because I think we
has
should
more
get
streamers,
someone.
I think.
We do next one of these ones we do in the future. We'll bring in Dursky and some folks from the MCC team. I've also seen questions about ranked. I also just wanted to comment. I'd like to bring Tashi on at some point. Tashi leads the esports at 343, but also is in charge of the ranked experience. He's the lead on that. So we don't want to speak out of turn and make comments about ranked. So we'll table that for now. But Tashi's aware that there's some interest, and he'd be more than happy to come once we can get the schedules aligned.
Yeah, Tashi's totally game.
That's cool.
Let's see. Anything else y'all see? We got just a handful of minutes here. Keep in mind my laptop time is not official. Chat is going crazy. A lot of campaign questions, which I'm just going to come out right now and let everybody off the hook. Completely out of scope for today. Out of bounds. We're not able to speak to anything about campaign. No, nothing to say there.
So they want to get the esports, Tashi, the esports guy, on, talk about esports and ranked and stuff like that, and they want to do these with. But there's no. Let's get them on about the. There's nothing. The campaign's dead. Nothing's coming about the campaign. They can't talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. But on June 11th, there is a Microsoft showcase, and maybe there'll be some campaign there. God, I hope there is.
On about season 4.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It's moving too fast.
Are there any questions about my dog?
No one cares.
Or Sean.
Yeah.
About Sean.
It's moving so fast, I can't keep up. Oh my gosh.
The mods pulled some questions, but I don't know if we've addressed a lot of it, actually.
Favorite baseball team, Mariners. Love them.
I was going to say, someone asked, when do you expect to be able to beat the 6-year-old in your class?
Oh.
Probably never. If she's that judgy, she's probably very good. It's kind of amazing, actually. Right? Yeah.
I mean, you're only going to get older and more frail as they're just going to get bigger and stronger, right? So,
yeah, I mean, I already have a fracture in my spine, so I'm not going to be able to beat this child. They're going to win. They're going to win.
From carrying your Super Fiesta teammates?
No, literally from carrying my daughter on my back, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's great fun.
All right. I've seen some questions about roadmap, too. I guess I can just address that. Like, no time in the near future are we putting out like a 12-month roadmap. We are kind of just working on a shorter cycle, heads down, getting things real. But
as well.
You and I had talked about a world where we could kind of do a little better job of communicating kind of what's in active development, what's under investigation.
Which they need to do.
Yeah, just so players have an idea of like, have we even heard their feedback on these areas? Is this ever going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And you know that I'm also a firm believer in like, I'd rather just tell people no than sort of leave them hanging. So, and then I just get called a dream crusher because all I do is just keep saying no to everything. But
I'd rather have a no than a maybe.
And just get on with my life, right?
So you'd rather no?
I'd rather just no. No.
Under promise.
But, I think we're going to try and do a better job going forward. And, but we also need to be mindful to the opening kind of dialogue.
These guys have been doing this. They've been working with 343. Some of them since Halo 4, but since 2015. Like, and this is on the community side. How have they not been saying, look, what can we say? We need something. We need some sort of roadmap for the launch of Infinite, and then we need some sort of roadmap for Season 2, 3, 4, 5. We need just general broad strokes so that the players can get excited about stuff. And it sounds like they're pushing for it, but they're not getting it. And that's another failing. This has been more negative than I was wanting it to be. This has been very negative, I feel. All of my Halo stuff it feels like I'm just being down on the game, and very negative. Like, to the point where I don't want to play it on stream. I wouldn't really play multiplayer anyway. I'd play Firefight, and I might play some Halo 5 Firefight at some point. At the minute, Halo 5 isn't even installed on the console. But I just feel that there's so much negativity around Infinite from me, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that way. But I do just feel so let down with 343 and the decisions that they've made. Really, up to launching the game, everything else has just been firefighting. Point. Again, like, nothing against these guys. Absolutely. And Sean especially. Sean has come out and he's probably given us too much information about certain things, and he's gone too far, and he's been very open and honest with what he says. And I have appreciated this whole thing. But it still feels like a letdown.
We just can't speak out of turn, and we don't, just because we had aspirations or intentions doesn't mean
I don't want them to get into trouble for giving us too much. Right?
Any final comments from you, Sean, before we let you off the hook? And I'm sorry for chat; it's moving so fast we can't even answer a fraction of these questions.
It's all too little, too late.
We will keep going. We'll keep doing this in the future. Maybe we'll do another unit check. Maybe we'll just get together another Ask 343 and just knock out a ton of questions in a more focused manner down the road too.
Yeah. What I would say is thank you to you guys. Like, you guys, like, Halo players defy physics. That's like kind of what you guys do. And so I really
agree.
Just appreciate the feedback, the engagement, the passion, and any spare faith you're willing to put on us. Like, really,
the passion
really
in this community is unrivaled. I think.
I just want to make you guys happy.
And I reiterate, there will be a lot more
guys, like the people who develop the game, certainly the people in the community team, they share the passion. They share the desire to make the game and the franchise and the world and everything as good as it can be. They share that, and I know that, and I will disagree with anyone who says that they don't. They're fans too. They want this to be the best experience. The problem is that we have to tell them how to make it.
Information about career rank, that's going to be coming up in the weeks ahead. Same thing for infection.
We'll cover that as well. We'll keep an eye on all this stuff now the new season's coming up. We'll do a review of the season as well.
So stay tuned on that. Wasn't our intention today to share all those details. And we stay tuned. It'll probably take a little time to get this buttoned up, but we'll get this full recording available to everyone.
No, I appreciate they've done this. Like, as I say, I wish that they'd been
as well as if you missed the last episode with Michael Shore,
but
that should also be on Halo's YouTube channel very soon.
Yeah, later today.
This has been an interesting
we talked to Michael Shore about Forge and Playlists.
And I think there's, between the lines, there's been a lot of omissions in this.
This sounds a lot like a podcast.
It basically is.
Telling me it's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a very scrappy podcast right now.
Yeah.
Scrappy audio
Love it.
series.
Love it.
But we want to let you get back to work, Sean. There's a lot. The community's counting on you. There's a lot of work you need to go do, and we don't want to keep you from that.
They're waiting on all the leaks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go back to my burner account. Let me just quickly do that.
Can I have a job? Well, okay.
Your burner account, Sean Halo.
Before we go,
Can you imagine? It'd be so dumb. Beans are on.
This may become a new tradition from last time because chat's asking for it again. They'd like to know if you could please send us off with a dad joke.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
Let me see what I got.
Are you prepared?
Let me see what I got. Check my database.
He did a non-terrible joke Tuesday. He on a Friday, no less. We ended the last one with a Unicheck special.
He has them all scheduled out.
So you write them down? You can't just get them off the dome? Here's one.
Do you have?
Oh, I always have some, but I want to make sure
it's a good one. Do you workshop it?
He also can't
workshop them with people? Oh my god!
Bad jokes I find. They're like, here you go, here's one.
But are they novel jokes? Like you're creating them yourself? Or
it's a mix. I'll find them. People send them to me. I'll come up with them.
Okay. Yeah.
But you don't want to read. You don't want to say one now that would cannibalize a future tweet you've already said.
No, I don't mind future ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean said he has one though. I think we should give Sean to go.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll have a guest closer. It's celebrity shot.
Terrible joke Friday.
Yeah.
Sean Barron.
How did ducks learn to fly?
I have no idea.
They just wing it.
Nice.
Nice.
What do you say, John? Was that how would you score?
Bad. Yes.
I'll give that an 8. I was hoping.
No, I think it's a good 6. It's a 6.
It's a 6.
I like it.
Thank you. Yeah.
The thing with me is there was no relation to the duck specifically. Why the duck over any other bird?
Again,
the relative specificity of duck.
He really does workshop these.
He does. Yeah. I guess there's some sort of absurdity. It's absurd, right? Plus, ducks are verified the second silliest bird.
Dude,
The first silliest bird doesn't fly. It's a penguin. Penguin.
What?
Pheasant.
Hey.
Well, he was getting to that part when I was already saying flamingo.
Okay.
No flamingos fly. I'm saying silly birds. Flamingos.
This is a fact. The first silliest bird is a penguin, and it can't fly. So I can't say how the penguins don't know how to fly because they do. But ducks are the second silliest birds.
Interesting.
And they can fly.
So it's long gone now, but somebody said you should have said they take a quack at it.
That's
a good one
better.
too.
So I don't know who said it, but because it's
That's better.
38 messages gone now. But that was a good punchline.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel bad for the people just now joining, expecting to hear juicy crosscore, and we're talking about ducks.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyways, we're way over time now. So
duck ears in the game?
Duck ears?
Wait,
that's not the ears. Come on.
Ducks have ears?
That's why you're not on the 3D art team.
The ears now?
Duck bill.
No, they're not confirmed.
All right.
I'm not confirmed.
I'm calling this.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you to everybody who hung out and chat with us today. Appreciate your support. Hopefully you're excited as we are about season 4. I think career rank. Well, I know career rank's going to be great.
I'm
Cannot
not.
wait to
I'm
play
interested.
with everybody.
I'm
Plus
not excited,
the other new content,
honestly.
of course, we'll be looking forward to there. And just remember, we're going to keep working on improving
But
the
we're still 30
customization
days
story.
out.
We've got your feedback. And we're also going after these technical and quality concerns as well. Please remember to keep finding those tickets for us. They're super, super valuable. But mostly just thank you. We appreciate you hanging out with us, sticking by us. And we're in this journey together. And I'm really happy and proud of the progress the team's making. And we're far from done. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
It's interesting, and if this does well, maybe we'll listen to future ones, and I'll keep an eye out better for them. There's obviously one there with Forge and multiplayer. I'm not really interested in that. From a snobbery point of view, Forge and multiplayer it's not something that I tend to dabble with too much. My focus is purely campaign and the PvE stuff. As you guys know, that's the whole thing with the other channel, the Top Plays Games. But I appreciate this. I appreciate that they're telling us certain things. We're 30 days from season 4, so let's call it a month. I would have liked a bit more. They've only really said Infection's coming and career rank is going to be on day 1 of season 4, with Plaza, the map, coming some point season 4, but at the start of season 3 it was some point season 3. So I feel that there isn't much commitment from these guys. Probably because everything is so up in the air at the studio and fluid. What do I want from Halo in the next 3 months? Like through the season 4 period, let's say end of season 3 through the season 4 period. What do I want? I want a definitive yes or no that we're going to get campaign DLC. Because if we're not going to get campaign DLC for Infinite, I'm not saying I want it now, in a year, 2 years, okay? I want to know if that is going to be something. I also want a definitive yes or no at some point in the life cycle of this game. Are we getting Firefight? And the other definitive yes or no that I think we need, which links into the crosscore, is the armor at some point going to be crosscore? And it can be as broad as the old stuff isn't anything that comes out season 4 and before will not be crosscore, but from season 6, every armor piece will work on every core. From that point onwards in the future. But the way it sounds like they'd have to implement that is they'd have to make 7 different... Season 4, season 5. Let's add a few... Let's say there's 10 armor cores at that point. They have to make 10 different helmets for each piece, right? So it isn't true crosscore. It's not crosscore at all. It's just the same thing 10 times, 9 times, whatever. Crosscore is such a frustration for me, and it's sad that this podcast, I'm going to call it a podcast, that's what it is. It's sad that this is just full of frustration and points that they're saying they're looking at, but they can't say anymore because they don't actually know how to fix it. It just proves how badly developed and how badly thought out this whole system was when it became a thing. And that it just proves to me, and again, this is exceptionally negative, and I don't want to feel this way because I felt this way about Halo 5. And it's almost 10 years of feeling this way about Halo. They weren't ready to launch it, and they hadn't properly thought what a Halo game should be. That's still my feeling with this. And it's so sad that I feel that way. And it's so sad that I think Halo is done because they've fumbled the last 2 games. Maybe that's what nostalgia is. And I remember the good old days of Bungie. Because Bungie are not the same studio that made Halo. Bungie that make Destiny now would fumble Halo 2. They would do a terrible job of making a Halo game. Maybe the golden age is over. That makes me sad. This is going to be almost 3 hours long. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry it's so long. But as you can probably tell, I am very passionate about this, and I want to have my say, and I'm trying to be as interactive. This isn't live streamed or anything, but I'm trying to be as interactive while I'm recording it and giving you my thoughts because I'm reacting to what they're saying, right? That's the point of this. So because of that, it is very long because I'm stopping it and I'm giving you my points of view. If you've enjoyed that, let me know. If you haven't, let me know. If you don't want to see any more of these, that's fine. I completely get it. There are Halo creators and there are people who focus on this stuff so much more than I do and do such a better job, right? But I am still learning the craft here. Despite having had a channel for a while, I don't do a lot with this channel. I want to do more. I want to do more stuff like this. And hopefully you guys want to enjoy it as well. Maybe we can do this as a live stream. If you want to see it, let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.